we're rolling now.
Oh, we're rolling.
Oh, on the audio part. Usually that's what I do. I start the audio, kind of like splicing my little logo.
Do you do a little clap?
Little clap. We did, but now I'm just like, fuck it. This is more ad-lib than anything. Let's not clap because that almost hurt the fucking wavelength.
So it's gonna spike it.
It's gonna spike that shit.
Yikes.
Yeah. This is good enough.
I think it's the best way to get right.
That's good. That's good. But I told DJ, so just know that you're gonna be in an angle.
Yeah.
And so from there,
I'll try not to lean in.
I can sit on your lap if you want me
You
to.
sit on my lap?
It's almost Christmas.
It's like Christmas in July. Just look at that Christmas tree over there.
Oh, wow.
I like how you have the Christmas tree out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let me know.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Always ready, man.
2-1 AM podcast.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to what was previously known as Johnny Reviews is now the Slice of Life podcast. And today, guys, it is a special podcast. Today I have a panel. If you can see, if you're with us on the video form, we have a panel of 4 people right now. I'm gonna go around the table, introduce everybody. You've seen a couple of faces. There's a new face up here that I'm gonna introduce, and he's gonna talk about a little bit about himself before we get into this panel. But on my right, and I wouldn't say he's on my side yet. We don't know what sides we're gonna be on. We're just gonna see. But on my right. Introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Mitchell May.
Horrible. On my right, we got Mitchell May. Mitchell May was on my podcast just recently, and I uploaded a video. It was really fun. We talked about conspiracies. We talked about a lot. That's Mitchell May over here on my right. Right in front of me, we got DJ. He was on my podcast a long time ago. We talked about directing, talked about so many things that have to do with implementing things in film, sound. I still remember that.
Yeah.
Like, it's ingrained in my mind, dude.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, but I'm so glad you're back with us, dude. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And right next to him, we got a newcomer right now. Yes, he's a newcomer. He's gonna be introduced here on the cast. He's gonna be here again, guys. But just to let y'all know, he's gonna be a familiar face from now on.
Oh.
This is Chase.
Oh, we're confirming that?
Yeah.
I'm a familiar face now?
You're in this one.
My name is Chase. I make movies every once in a while, and I'm excited to talk about movies, I guess.
Yeah,
if that is what we're talking about.
We are going to be talking about that.
We'll
he's also a very talented videographer, guys. I will put down the links of everybody's expertise on the description down below. Just hit that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. But we're going to get right down to it. All right, guys. Before I get to that, I just want to let y'all know. Thank you all for being here. This is great. This is good. This is new.
Thanks for the invite.
Thank you for having me, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Digging the shades, bro.
I had to
I
put
like
my.
how you still rock the shades.
This isn't poker. This is
He
a
has that poker,
poker face.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys for like I would have
Fuck
won.
you guys. Fuck DJ.
For real.
Man, never played Texas Hold'em.
I won.
And still won.
I know.
I mean, come on. I've played it many times. I've played it many times.
He comes in, he's like, oh, what is this Texas
I had
Hold'em?
never played Texas Hold'em up until last night.
Until last night.
I mean, that's the ultimate bluff, though, you know?
100%.
That's what he pulled off.
Was I really? Was that my first time?
Maybe.
No one knows.
The world will never know. Alrighty, guys. We're going to start off with this panel right here. We're talking about film. We're going to talk about entertainment. We're going to talk about Marvel, DC, Disney. Everything that has to do with this panel is going to be about entertainment, guys. We're going to start off with what we think about 2020. What do we think is going on in the entertainment business? We'll start with DJ.
I think we actually we had kind of briefly touched upon that. I've talked to many people about, at least union wise, and I don't know if the circumstances are the same with you, because like with independent filmmakers, it's a bit more free. Like you can do a lot more things because things are kind of shut down. But unionized, at least like when it comes to being on set, officially nothing. Like everything is pretty much shut down because no one wants to fucking go out and catch this Rona. So everything is like shut down. I know a lot of people who've actually like expressed they feel what's the word, like not productive, because they're solely like what they work on is sets and cast and crews. They don't do things like independently, like independent work. I have the luxury of I do both. I would like to actually say more so I lean more towards independent work, but people I know like they do solely cast and crews and they actually get paid like for doing that stuff.
Shit.
And they can't do nothing, like they're stagnant. So when it comes to filming in the business right now, like in the actual filming business, everything is shut down and people are fucking sad, dog. But
Dude,
when you got people like my man Chase here, putting out projects, independent work, got that passion. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know. That do with the situation you got and film where you can. 100%. And that's the love in the art of filming. Like you can do whatever you want with whatever you can whenever you can.
Yes.
Well said.
So,
well said.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll go around the table.
I'm the type of person I see glass like half full, so I'm always like.
We all have different perspectives.
Yeah, like
so that's the reason why I'm saying.
I'm not gonna say COVID-19 is a good thing because that's just not a correct statement, I think. But that being said, I mean there are scenarios where you can take advantage, like Zendaya and what's Denzel's son's name? John David Washington.
Yeah, yes.
They filmed a romance movie together over quarantine. It was a very small cast. Netflix picked it up, which is like a romance that takes place in an apartment. It's like. Yeah, everything was shut down, but hey, we got these two actors.
Yeah, what you're saying.
These two actors. We got a camera guy, an audio guy, very small crew. They made a Netflix movie. You know what I mean? So it's coming out sometime this fall. I forget what it's called, but
okay.
I did see an article about that. So I know what you're talking about.
A lot of people are actually like kind of like raving about the fact that it's them two. Like Zendaya looks like way too young. But people don't know that Zendaya's like, isn't she like 25?
Dude, she's our age, bro. She's
23?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
And then
I'm a grandpa,
but
yeah.
32, right?
Washington's like in his 30s.
Right.
Yeah, almost.
But yeah, it's you make it
whatever you want.
Yeah,
it is
like,
what it is.
I try to stay productive. You know, like I find side projects because there's people that just have random footage that they just need edited. It's like, oh yeah, I'll do that for like $300.
Right.
It's like
it's work. I mean, it's just for one. Exactly. You're still kind of doing your criteria is more like you don't have to be more hands on. Like I would say, like in an entertainment, like where there's a lot more people inputs, more people talking to each other. Mm-hmm. So I can see where you're coming from when it comes to like that perspective and it can be heightened. Even if you're by yourself, even if so much shit's going on.
Exactly.
Like
I love the hands-on stuff, but if there's no hands-on stuff, it's like, all right, how am I going to make money?
Exactly.
I'm not going to wait around, you know, I'll just find whatever there is.
Yeah. 100%. So I'm not going to say that I'm actually like a creator, but I am, so I'm not going to like downplay.
You're creative. Though.
Yeah.
You're creative.
I do create some stuff. I'm not going to downplay that.
We all have
but let me just, from a viewer's perspective, let me just say 2020 has been a blessing because we got Tiger King. I mean, come on.
Dude,
I
completely forgot about that. That was like at the beginning of quarantine.
That might have been the coolest thing to come out of 2020. I mean,
Tiger King,
the coolest
Tiger King.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Of all the many things,
what else was there?
It, but
I mean, you
had
have
like an episode in.
You have some other things that came out. I mean, I'm super excited for the new Haunting of Hill House coming out in October. Did you hear about that?
I did hear about that. Yeah.
I'm super excited. Spooky season. Shout out to spooky season. I'm a big spooky season person.
Yes.
But yeah, one thing that I did notice though over quarantine that was a little. I mean, it happened to everyone, so it was like everyone was in it together.
Yeah.
But like Instagram, I don't know if you guys posted over like quarantine any Instagram pictures, but
like
all of mine tanked over quarantine, dude. Like I'm talking like pre-quarantine, like right before the pandemic, I was doing good, man.
So let me
like I was
let
getting
me
good likes and stuff.
You are a creator, and because of that, that's why I'm saying like your Instagram, it's your creative side is coming from that angle.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're even saying like it's tanked because it's not up to par if it was like if everything wasn't closed and shit.
But then after quarantine, one of my YouTube videos did the best of any of my YouTube videos I've ever done. So I was like, well, I don't know. So I guess it all depends.
The Tron
yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, that's another thing actually. Like people are very like hesitant to put out content because of Rona.
Exactly.
It's not just because of Rona, man. BLM, all that.
And a whole bunch of stuff. But if you do put out something, people are going to watch it because people are inside. They have nothing else to do.
Yeah, true. So I was so reluctant to posting a video after like quarantine. I was like, maybe I should just like stop. Just stop. Like I was like, I just don't even know if I want to do this anymore. And then I was like, you know what? Why quit my channel? Like why stop what I love to do? Yeah. So I posted a video and it did pretty good. So.
No, 100%. Man. The only thing
during quarantine, my likes were.
I think I could say about anything, man. Like if you're in the moment and you're trying to fight for something, then yeah, it can do good. But we're on a line of expertise. We all have like different viewpoints, and that's why it's like if those viewpoints are in the spectrum of like it can be good, then it sucks because that even my podcast, like I stopped it because, dude, I don't like the Skype podcast. I love having people here because it's the vibe, the way that
you.
Yes. You understand me, I understand you. Like that's the reason why I like that. But you're right. 2020 has been kind of like, it fucked up so much shit, and I was just like, man, I want to pursue this, so I'm gonna wait until everything kind of like mellows down a little bit, bring up some key points. Especially we'll talk about like Black Panther. We're gonna talk about like all this other stuff that I'm thinking about getting into. But dude, I'm just glad that we all have like different perspectives on this stuff, and that's good right there. Now let's talk about We're all Disney people.
Mhm.
We all worked
Employees.
at we're all employees in some sort.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
some form of
In
fashion.
some form or fashion. So let's just chime in about how we see the parks right now, how we see it kind of going. Maybe we can chime that in with 2020.
I'm actually going later today.
I was gonna ask that. Who here has been to the parks since they opened up? Yeah.
Have you not been?
No,
You haven't been?
I have not been.
What?
No, for no.
It's pretty empty, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
I know.
Depending on the day, but
Okay, I can
I'll
understand
make
why
money.
though.
Well,
they're not. I don't think. I mean,
what do
merch.
you think is the reason?
Merch.
Dude, there's just one.
I'm gonna bring this.
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
A lot of the reason why we go to Disney is for the experience, the shows, the meeting up with a lot of people, not having all these restrictions. You know, it's just like a different environment. But if you can find a plus side to it, then yeah, I just don't think I don't think like my plus side is your plus side. So I can't justify why you would want to
There's
go.
honestly like no reason. Like I don't know. I've been invited too. Like
Sure.
I had someone tell me that they went on Flight of Passage like 4 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? 4
Walk
times,
Walk
dog?
right on, man.
Yeah, like either walk on, get off, walk right back on.
Yeah.
I just haven't. I don't know. There's no particular reason. It's not most certainly like because like Corona thing. Because like I know that they're doing pretty good
Yeah.
for the most part.
It's been hot.
It's
Dude.
been hot.
And
Yeah,
raining.
and
And raining.
Oh my god, and
flooding.
humid.
Is there a
Yeah.
hurricane? Is there a hurricane coming? Do we know?
Well, there's like 3
Bro.
tropical storms right now.
Bro.
I'm not even joking.
Bring it on.
I know you're not asking. Like,
When you live in Florida, bro, like a
We're in the
hurricane,
middle.
hurricane will be hitting tomorrow, and we won't know till today because we get hit that often.
Dude.
It's like, yo, one's coming tomorrow. Oh, okay.
my cousin and
Another day.
brother.
A
are
Thursday.
coming- My cousin and brother are coming next month. And they're like, hey, I hear there's a hurricane coming. I'm like,
Probably.
probably. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's a
Dude,
hurricane.
Floridians are just like, what's our
Yeah,
hurricane?
like whatever. And then you have people like the governor, and it's like, you will die.
Yeah, as long as you don't live
Bro.
on the coast, you're good.
Come on.
Dude,
It's hard.
that's the thing. Like, I just feel like as being Floridians now, like I think we're throw whatever you want at
We're
us. I know.
chilling.
We're just like we're nothing.
We're
nothing
chilling.
We've had the worst. Like,
Yeah.
we've had the absolute worst.
I wouldn't say there's
Hurricane,
people that
come
have
on.
gotten worse. Like,
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We got this shit.
We've had the worst in relevance.
You've never been to
Florida.
Florida, which, I mean, there's probably a small
Florida's beautiful.
population of people listening to this who have never
100%.
been to Florida. It's basically a swamp, you know?
Yeah.
We live in a
Literally
Disney
live-
bubble.
It's
Yeah.
all steamy in Florida.
Oh my god. I hate that when you said that. I
Yeah.
felt it. I actually felt that when you
It's a
said
good
it's
description,
steamy.
yeah.
Yeah, it
It
is.
is steamy, dude. We have lizards slithering around.
I think that's the Urban Dictionary definition right there.
You seen alligators just
Yeah,
wander
for
all
real.
over there somewhere? I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Definition of Florida: steamy and lizardy.
Chase, what do you think?
Parks. Parks? I mean, I've been like theme parked out for a couple months, honestly. So I only go if like a lot of my friends are like, "Oh, you want to go food and wine?" Like food and wine, something like
Something, yeah.
I
Oh,
would
yeah, that's
definitely
what
want to
it
try for sure.
Drinking around the world. Let's go.
If there's like a date or something, like I'll go in that scenario. But the thing I like about it is I would always avoid a lot of Disney stuff because I'm not gonna wait 2 hours in a line for something.
Why is you try to avoid Disney? Is that what you're saying?
I do try to avoid Disney sometimes. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'm
I'm
just
not afraid to say.
I've been Disneyed
I'm not
out.
either.
Yeah, I've been Disneyed out. I work there. You know, it's like it's not my go-to thing to do when I'm off. I'm like, I don't want to go back. But the cool thing about it is like the Avatar Flight of Passage. I love it. It's like the coolest experience ever. The fact that I could go to Animal Kingdom right now,
Yeah.
not wait 3 hours, get on right away within 5 minutes. Yeah, I'll go to Animal Kingdom if it's that empty right now.
But you're like one time is
Yeah,
sufficient.
exactly. Kind of. I mean, I hadn't done the safari since I moved down here like a year ago.
Yeah.
I've done that like 3 times since quarantine
Since
because
quarantine.
I can walk right on. I don't have to wait 2 hours. So
Yeah.
in that sense, if there is a time for me to go to Disney, now's gonna be the time because I just get right on to
Mhm.
everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take advantage.
Yeah. So I've been to Disney a few times, but before quarantine, I didn't have the opportunity to go to Universal that much because I was waiting
Yeah.
as a because I'm a I'm a team member. Don't tell anyone.
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time? I don't think.
But like
Yeah,
as
gotcha.
like somebody who works for something, I mean, I'm not 100%. I guess you can't say I'm a real team member, but let's just say I'm in that kind of category. So I was waiting to get into the parks through that process, and it didn't happen for a while. But once it did happen, I was able to go a few times during quarantine, or like as soon as they reopened, right?
Yeah.
And so I was excited. So I've been going to Universal a lot more than Disney. But I have been going to Disney too, but like I was kind of themed Disney. I don't want to like.
You've been Disneyed
I
out?
was a little Disneyed out,
It's
but
fine.
like
It's fine to say it.
But
I
like
think it's
I
okay
was,
to say it.
yeah. So I spent most of my time post quarantine at Universal. I spent most of my time there. But yeah, Disney still always has that place in my heart. You know, I go there for like obviously the Halloween decorations. I saw those the other day, and I go there for like new merch and stuff, or like just to film a quick video.
Okay, yeah, I think
You
we
know?
can all agree that Universal does Halloween much better than Disney does.
Dude, I was supposed to go today to Universal for the
What
opening.
happened? Is it
Go
It's
tomorrow.
a packed. It's already going.
Oh,
like,
shit.
dude, it's I
What's
guess I think the
They hit capacity?
well, they hit capacity already for their their preview of Halloween Horror Nights. They have
Yeah.
2 houses today, and you had to go super early in the morning. I didn't know that. I was like thinking, okay,
Because
Disney.
I was planning on doing that tomorrow. So
Yeah,
You're telling me now.
Well,
I
I'm actually
have to
going
get up
to.
at like 8 a.m. if I'm
Yeah,
on
you do.
there.
Yeah, you do. Unfortunately. And I didn't know that. But I'm actually going to that. I was telling you that drive-in haunted house.
Yeah, that sounds
tomorrow.
cool.
I'm going tomorrow. So
That'd be dope.
yeah, so
That's
it's gonna
really
be fun.
cool. Well, shit, no. I mean, I think at some point, you're right. I think we all get burnt out at some point, and I think that's why we also stem to Universal. I don't go to SeaWorld, but I would.
I've never
like,
been to SeaWorld.
fuck that. But
Ever been to SeaWorld?
No, I mean, there was this one girl. She was like, "Oh, I have a free guest pass if you want to go." I was like, "Sweet."
That's
and then
why
she never followed up. I was like,
That's
"Damn."
what I went for, man.
I
was
don't
just
want to
like,
drop like the $90 to go to SeaWorld.
exactly. I got invited. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? You
Have
pay
you guys
whatever.
been
It's
to
all
SeaWorld?
good.
I have, yeah.
Okay, okay.
I
Shamrock?
could,
Oh,
technically, I could go. Like my pass gets me in there too.
Okay, okay.
because
They have like 3 rides.
I'm related
That's
to
what
the
the coasters look
company.
like.
Yeah, you got Manta, you got Kraken, and then
Yeah, the coasters look sweet when I drive by
Mako.
them. Yeah.
Bro,
Oh, the coasters are all. I live right next door to
rides
SeaWorld.
that
Yeah, no, I
drop.
drive
Yeah.
by
I
all the
will
time.
scream like I'm not a screamer, but when a ride drops.
we're talking about SeaWorld ones, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm talking about specifically Mako. So my
The big one.
The one. It's literally I could be wrong on this, but it has like one of the highest drops. That's
It's
literally
virtual
the ride.
reality. Is it the one with the virtual reality? They have a virtual reality coaster. Did you guys know that?
And SeaWorld?
Yeah.
I heard about that.
I've
It
never been
sounded
on it.
sick.
I've never been on it, but my roommate was telling me about it. He said that it's a sick roller coaster, and the whole time you have these virtual reality goggles on, and it looked like they
Looks
have.
like you're underwater,
Well,
right?
yeah, you see like underwater stuff, and I think you also see some like crazy like monsters,
Yeah,
like
like,
I don't
that
know,
sounds
like
insane.
sea
That sounds
monsters.
sweet.
and
That
stuff.
sounds-
Okay, yeah, I would
Honestly,
do
that
that.
sounds
That
pretty
sounds
good.
dope.
Yeah.
That sounds fire.
Yeah. Well, what's a fun fact about Orlando, guys, and this is why I love living here so much, is because
Why do you live in?
because the little Starbucks down the street from me.
That's
I go there all the time. Listen, I go there all the time, and whenever I get my coffee, you get a straight view. Like, you could say whatever you want. Like, you could say like screw SeaWorld, whatever. I know there's controversy about SeaWorld, but anyways, the roller coasters are beautiful and magnificent and fun. But
the restructure meant that they're
really
doing.
cool.
It's good.
They're really
It's
cool
good.
to watch. People have fun on the roller coaster. I don't care who you are. It's fun to watch that.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there at Starbucks, and every single day I get coffee, I just hear
You just
people
watch the roller coasters.
like, yeah, it's right there. It's right in front of you.
So you get a coffee, you go to Starbucks, sit down.
No.
And you're
No,
like-
I drive home and drink my coffee. But while I'm waiting in line, it's like something to look at. You see like.
Okay,
people on
I
the
thought
coaster.
you
Like,
took.
that looks fun.
I
dude.
thought you took time out of your day to be
No,
like, you know what?
no,
I'm
not-
gonna go to
a roller
Starbucks, get a
coaster
coffee,
watch.
and I'm just gonna watch these people go ah. Like I thought.
Well,
that's what
fun
you're doing.
fact, I'm actually like I have like God power, and I play Roller Coaster Tycoon
Oh,
in
Thor.
real life. You know, like
I have a magical hammer that.
yeah.
No, okay, well that's good. I mean, we all see the perspectives of the parks, and we all see everything that's going on, like right now with the world and shit. I just think that right now to chime in our opinion on how we see it, I think that's ideal. This is what the podcast is for. We all have different perspectives. We all see differently.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna get into some more little controversy, DC and Marvel.
Well, before we get into that, can we
Okay.
just take a moment of silence for the great and late Chadwick?
There we go.
I'm emotional.
Yeah.
All right, so
that
let's
was
talk about Chad then. We'll talk about Chadwick. Let's see the impact that he did as Black Panther. What did you love about his Black Panther?
Well, I wanna first say this. I've actually talked to a couple people about this topic. The impact.
Bring the mic to you if you're gonna talk about it.
The impact is lessened or heightened for certain people. A lot of people don't really understand the impact that he had, how influential he was specifically in the African American and Black community.
Yes.
So speaking as a Black individual, when I heard that he passed, like I'm not about like just being real. Like when an actor or someone passed away, I'm like, they left their imprint here in society, and they're gone to a better place. But when I heard about Chadwick, first off, he was young as hell.
Yeah, man. 43. He was 40.
Was he?
I thought he was younger than that.
He was a year.
I think he was 43.
He was year older than the 42. The 42. That's the only way I can reference it. 42 number from.
Yeah, he was.
And
young.
he died on the day.
Yes, on
Jackie
Jackie Robinson Day.
I was watching the Texas Rangers, and they were all wearing 42.
That's
and
insane.
that right there.
Yeah, man.
But keep going.
There's literally, I remember watching. I was going on my feed like when it happened, and I saw this video of this kid who was like breaking down crying, and then the mom, I guess she wanted to bring awareness to the fact that her kid loved Black Panther, because like when that movie came out, which a lot of people to this day I have talks and like they don't understand it, that really had a really big imprint in the Black community. Like we didn't have a Black superhero to like really look up to, the best we had was like Blade, but like Blade, come on. Black Panther, like literally, like he had like these morals, and like he was just a figure, And so in this video, this kid is just breaking down crying, and the mom pans around the room, and he literally had his room littered with Black Panther like shirts, gear, and all that. So his passing, it's just so unfortunate. Like we finally get someone to represent that community,
and then stripped away.
The best way to put that.
Yeah.
And it just it's just so unfortunate, man. And people are already talking about, like, literally the day after, people were like, oh, what's Marvel gonna do? Like, are they gonna replace him? Are they gonna like recast Black Panther? And it's just sad, man. It's just sad. He really did some work. He brought something to that character that I don't think any other actor could have brought to that character, because he was on set just as humble and, I guess you could say, royal as he was in those movies. He was offset, even more so, more humble. He was such a humbled guy.
Yeah.
And he showed that in all of his movies. And he just brought something. He passed away, and it was just sad. So,
shit, man.
Yeah.
Good perspective. I say that, and I mean, respectable.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we'll get to Chase. You turn, man. Just bring it closer to you. Move it.
Oh.
Yeah.
How's that?
That's
good.
Yeah.
What'd I do?
I don't know. You just brought it way too close. Like,
I just make you laugh like that?
Yeah.
How's that?
Alright. I mean, obviously, like, because I came out of a movie theater when I first heard about it, I was just shocked instantly, because usually when an actor dies like that young, you can process it for like 10 minutes. You're like, okay, that's just absurd.
Right.
I think we'll get into Marvel in a second. I'm not the biggest Marvel fan. Like, I think most of the movies are okay, and Black Panther fell into that. Even though it's obviously super important movie as an actual movie, I was like, yeah, it was all right. The thing that I liked about Chadwick Boseman so much, and the thing with a lot of these actors like Tom Holland and people that get introduced in the MCU, is that once they're in the Marvel movies, they're on the come up of way bigger roles to come. Like Tom Holland just had that Netflix movie's apparently great in.
Yeah.
I saw Chadwick Boseman as being one of those guys 5 years from now. He starts to become like one of the serious, like a Denzel Washington type guy, like someone that
gave me goosebumps.
you know what I mean? Yeah, like just someone that was unfortunately taken away right before I think they were about to hit their prime type thing. Like I thought Chadwick Boseman was the type of guy. I always thought he was the type of guy where he had the potential of being someone that's going to get nominated for an Oscar every 2 years type thing. Like he was going to start getting those really big roles. Right. Because once you do something like Black Panther, everyone's like, oh, Chadwick is someone we would consider. So that to me is the entire sad part of it, especially he just was in the Spike Lee movie, The Five Bloods, which I have not seen yet.
Me either.
I hear he's fantastic. I hear he's talking about like some sort of Oscar nomination for that, which would be cool.
It would be cool. It'd be cool.
For sure.
I agree.
So yeah, in terms of that aspect, I mean, it always sucks when someone dies, like creative for sure. But just the fact that I knew, because I feel like even though he was always a good actor, it just felt like he was always about to get his next, like, oh, this is the Chadwick Boseman Oscar project. And he unfortunately never got that project, which is the saddest part to me.
Yeah.
But super nice guy, super, just like the fact that he could pull off like all those Marvel movies while battling the cancer. That's just crazy.
Yeah, man.
And never coming out about it like that is absolutely insane. That because those are physical roles.
And he does almost everything.
And he did it. He never complained about it. He never brought up to anybody. And that to me is the most impressive part.
Yeah.
And it just sucks. I mean, there's nothing else you can say other than it just sucks for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, bringing with what you said about the he had cancer. Did you know? I heard this the other day that he found out he had cancer right after he was cast for Black Panther for Civil War.
2016.
Civil War.
That was 4 years.
So it was literally right before he was about to take this amazing journey onto this Marvel cinematic universe, and this is so sad to say, but he thought he was gonna beat it in like film Black Panther 2. He was like, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm gonna get back in shape. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's so sad, dude. And like when I heard it, like not to downplay like anyone else's death that has died ever like in Marvel history, but like I felt something so much more deeper when Chadwick passed than when Stan Lee passed. Like not to say it's not like important, but like Stan Lee was an old dude and he lived out his life to the fullest, dude.
Yeah. I think that's what's respectable.
You know what I
mean? I think that's the reason why.
And like it hit me so hard, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude! Like this is," and it's so hard to believe, and it's still hard to believe, dude. And it's so unfortunate. He met so many different people, and I was so excited for Black Panther 2. I was telling you about how I was excited, how like they were gonna add Storm probably, and like they were gonna get married, and like this whole thing was gonna be insanely exciting. Like, you know, I was so like it's just unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
I agree with that. The Stan Lee that like because when Stan Lee passed, I'm heavy into Marvel. I actually met Stan Lee.
I saw Stan Lee.
That was
Wait, have you told me this before? I don't know if you
that I met Stan Lee.
Yeah,
I met him. He didn't really say much. This was actually a month before he passed.
Oh my gosh.
So I had went to this convention, the MegaCon Orlando.
I went to the Dallas Expo. That's where I saw him.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was like 3 years ago. So
oh no, I went to MegaCon Orlando and it was he was like, that's it. Like I'm gonna come here and this is gonna be the last time I come to Florida. And I at the time I didn't have the money to like meet him or I didn't have the travels to go. And so I was like, damn, I missed out on an opportunity. And then Irma hit Florida.
So he stayed.
So no, he ended up leaving, and he was like, because Irma hit Florida and it was pretty bad. He's like, I'm gonna come back one more time. So I was like, oh, I got to meet him. I have to. There's no way.
This is you have
to. Even if I go in debt, like I gotta meet this man, dog. So I ended up going. It was all the way out in Tampa. So I was like, fuck it. And so I drive. Fuck it. I'll make the drive. So I went all the way to Tampa. I go up to him like it's so amazing to meet you. He was like, yeah, it's really nice to meet you too, young man. I was like, yo. Take the picture, bro.
That would get anybody right there.
That's so insane.
And I got out, I framed it, like I got the whole nine. And then the month after he passed, I was like, no way.
Yeah. Like, not to say, like, I definitely felt some serious feelings whenever Stan Lee passed, but it was like expected.
So that's what I wanted to say. Like, Stan Lee, he lived his life in like.
I would say to the fullest.
Yeah,
I mean,
to the fullest.
Like what he wanted to do.
And with all the problems he had, like it was like you're just like we were ready. Like okay, like it's gonna come one of these days.
Yeah.
We just didn't know when. With Chadwick,
that was
unexpected.
Like a stab to the fucking heart.
Everything that you've gone through with 2020, that's not enough.
Yeah, just really turning it. And with Stan Lee, like we knew the imprint that he was leaving. But with Chadwick, we're left with the imprint that he like the potential of what he could have left if he stayed longer.
Right.
And that's what makes that shit so sad.
No, 100%.
Make a man tear up right here on
I know, dude.
No, and this is why I like everybody's perspective, because you can get somebody like that isn't a Marvel, but a Marvel fan, but see the value and how much he brought to the entertainment business as a whole. I was a Chadwick Boseman fan at 42, like that. That was
42.
Oh yeah, as a baseball guy, and then seeing him like portray one of the greatest heroes in baseball, and I see that, and I see he's gonna be something big, and then I see that expo that they had. I think it was at, I don't know if it was D23 or if it was at San Diego Comic Con where they announced him, and I was like goosebumps everywhere, man. I was like, this guy. So nonchalant, so relaxed. I've already had like 3 Black Panther comics with me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's gonna be so good." Like this is like an underdog coming up, and strip that all away, dude, and say like all those different roles he played because they were monumental, and especially like in the world that we live in. And I think those were that was one of the key things that I liked about him, is that he can pull his weight. And you're right about the whole Denzel thing. He that could have been like, I'm not gonna compare him to Denzel, but it's like that. It's that idea of like being greater.
Give him 5-10 more years.
Yes, like you're getting greater and bigger and doing more exponential things, and then battling through cancer. Man, like anybody who goes through that shit, like sorry, but that's that for an actor to try to do that, like, and no one knowing about it until it kind of like reaches to that point. Fuck, man, that sucks. And you're right, man. Like for your perspective, like he was that icon for a lot of people that like Black, African American, anybody that you like, minorities in that sense. I don't even have one for like Hispanic besides like Miles Morales, but that's he's Puerto Rican, Dominican,
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider, right? And that's the thing.
Ray.
Like I like him, but not. I don't think they portrayed a Hispanic person like they portrayed Black Panther, and I think it's coming. I mean, Kamala Khan, she's the big one in the gaming industry right now with that new game that came out.
Yeah,
I love that game. Shout out to that game.
Yeah, dude, it's a great game, but at some point, like he did something there that was truly beautiful, and just with Disney trying to figure out everything that's going on, it sucks, man. That's a very sucky thing to go through, especially like making those hard decisions right after something like this happens.
Yeah,
and so for all the Marvel fans out there, man, just still love everything that kind of like is going to be coming up. Like it's hard to take this out, and you know.
So we need to brighten the mood back up.
Oh, dude, yeah. We had to talk about it. I know,
like.
But dude, okay, so enough with Chadwick. We all loved him, and God bless. Rest in peace.
Rest in power.
Now let's change it up right here, guys. We are going to be talking about how we see the DC universe and how we see the Marvel universe. I know you're not a big Marvel guy.
I'm not a big comic guy.
You're not a big comic guy.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen all the movies.
But you could give us the film perspective of
how
you can give an unbiased.
I will not.
I think
that's a very grounded opinion.
Yeah, I think it works out best because he doesn't.
We're not choosing a side of like what's good by the superhero standpoint. We're gonna look at it from the actual ground up, from the shows, from the film perspective of like what Christopher Nolan did from that point.
Bro,
what does it mean to take a movie to the exponential level that it is now? Like people see this as a staple in society right now. It's pop culture right now. And why is that? What is it that makes it so good? Is it the story, the superhero, the film side? What do you think? Let's start with Chase. I want to see his because I'm like,
this is a big topic. So where do we even start?
Where do you want to start?
I guess I'll just start with my basic opinions on superhero movies. I think I'm just not the particular demographic for it. So
this is why I want to start with you.
Okay, let's start with this. All right, The Dark Knight. Right?
He's like hyped up right into it.
Hold on. We don't have to fight about this. I just need to stay like where I stand. All right, The Dark Knight was the first movie I saw in theaters where I was like, movies could be this good. And then from that point on, I was like learning about other filmmakers.
Okay.
And then when Inception came out, Christopher Nolan, same director, and I found out, oh, this guy made this movie and he made The Dark Knight. Like that is your job. You make two banging movies like that back to back. I want to do that. So I have a personal connection with like The Dark Knight, Batman Begins. Dark Knight Rises is not as good as either of those, but I think you can do a lot with a superhero movie for sure. The reason I'm not really a Marvel MCU fan, I just feel like they all follow the same formula and they're all the same movie. They just have a different coating on each thing. Like I watch Black Panther and I'm like,
go in detail on that because I already know what I'm gonna say. But
okay, that's right. I just feel like every joke you hear, you're like, oh, that's the Disney formula. It just feels like the same story every time until you throw something in like Infinity War. That's why I like the Infinity War. That's why I like Guardians of the Galaxy. It changes it up. That's why I like the Winter Soldier because it just feels different as opposed to when I watch Thor 2, it feels the same as when I watch Ant-Man 2. You know what I mean? I just get the same feeling from both of those movies. I wouldn't even necessarily say a lot of the Marvel movies are bad as much as I would say a lot of the Marvel movies feel the same to me.
Okay.
But there's certain ones that stand out. Like,
Can I
go for it.
Just jump off? Hold on.
Go
Okay.
for it.
Can you just? Will you admit at least they might be growing a little bit, like the Marvel movies, growing in the sense of like now they can finally do some weird and really deep,
that's
like
what I
deep
want them
cut
to do.
things.
And
it just took a long time to build up. Like you have to have
100%.
those boring, like Thor 2.
The sellout movies,
for sure.
I guess.
What I do like about Marvel is no one has ever created a universe like this before Marvel. That is like the thing that I take away Marvel from
That
Marvel
formula.
most is like being able to create a bunch of different franchises, but they're all still connected is awesome. I just don't like every movie that is in that universe.
Well, of course,
but
yes.
when you have movies lined up like the Kung Fu guy, whatever his name is, Shang-Chi. When you have movies like what else they come out with? Eternals. I don't know anything about that, but I like the director. I'm like, okay, I'm interested in that. You know what I mean? Like,
you, Chase.
all right. I do think superhero movies are going to start to die out over the next 5 years.
Whoa.
Just because
That's a
I
hard
feel
stance.
like you can't do Endgame again. You know what I mean? Endgame felt final, and I'm interested to see how Marvel maintains that interest over the next 5 years. There will always be Marvel fans,
I
but
feel like I want to go to this side.
How-
Hold on.
how do you reach that Endgame level again?
Well,
what do you do?
Before I go into that side, I just want to bring up. Did you guys hear about who's gonna be the next big baddie? at Marvel?
Yes.
Who is it?
King and Conquer.
King the
But-
Conqueror.
But
But see, that's what keeps.
What does he do?
But that's the
Yeah.
thing. That's what keeps you curious. Is that you're like,
You're like,
I bet I can
who are
get
they and
you
what are they
a
gonna
little
do?
excited. I bet I could get you a little
A
excited.
little
I want to get excited, man.
Okay, well,
I'm
first-
open to getting excited.
Sorry for cutting you up.
No,
If
no.
you could finish right now. Like,
Well, I was just gonna say who King the Conqueror is. He's basically Thanos. Essentially, how they portrayed him in the movies and in the comics is he just wants to. In the movie, wanted to kill half the universe,
Right.
which his motive changes at the end of Endgame. He's like, all right, I'm gonna kill everyone in the
yeah.
universe. King the Conqueror goes to every universe, and for fun, tries to conquer those
It's in his name.
universes.
well, throughout
To
time,
me,
he's a
that
time
sounds like,
traveler.
that sounds like just a basic villain.
Yeah,
He's
but
a-
I
well,
agree.
we had this discussion too about what it makes a good villain. Okay, if not even kind of.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
talking
we
about that.
did.
Yeah,
That got a little.
we were
Like-
a little tipsy.
Like
but
you're
we were
saying, I'm going to
yeah.
conquer the world and conquer this world. That doesn't excite me.
See, okay, so you mentioned Disney a lot, especially like I think you're also portraying just because the reason that Disney is or Marvel is owned by Disney. I think we also talked about some of the Star Wars shit, like
Yeah.
they're saying that same sort of
It's the
formulaic
same
shit.
thing, yeah.
And I'm not gonna disagree with you there. I can see some of the similarities there. Does that will that take me away? I don't think so.
It doesn't have to. Yeah.
But it doesn't
it's
have
based
to.
on personal preference.
100%. But it's just I think what you're getting at also is why you like a kind of like a Christian Bale sort of thing is just because they don't have that boundary that Disney holds,
Correct.
and I can respect that.
Mm.
The only thing is I agree with him saying that these next movies that are coming up I think are going to break that boundary,
I hope
especially
so.
when it
Well,
comes
yeah.
to owning Deadpool. That's a different
Oh,
way to look
yes.
at it.
Mm.
Looking at like all these different mutants that have to do with a rated R sequence and rated R like viewpoint.
Do you think Disney's going to keep it rated R?
I think they'll make a different. I think they'll make
Before
a
we
different.
jump into this,
Yeah.
though, I'm gonna piggyback off what you and what both of you guys said. Okay, so
Because even King the Conqueror, he's menacing. Like,
well, before we
I
jump
hope
into
so.
like future,
I'm
let me
hoping
go
for
back
it.
to like
Yeah.
just movie quality.
Okay.
So I'm just before we go into like theory crafting about movie Marvel, let's go into just film in general. So is it possible that a superhero movie such as The Dark Knight could be a good movie? Like in my opinion, like I say, I have opinions, and we can get into this at some point, but I do think it is a good movie. But me as a comic book fan, do you think it's possible for a movie to technically be not a good movie if it's not a good comic, like doesn't make the comic
Well, yeah,
fan
you
happy?
could say I don't like the movie because it's not accurate to the comic. You know what I
Right.
mean? But that's why I like The Dark Knight, because he was like, I'm just taking inspiration from this
That
comic
heightened-
and he did
and
his
I'm
own
making
thing.
it a crime drama, which is so much cooler to me.
Yeah, if you literally take out Batman from the name, just The Dark Knight, it stands alone as a movie on itself. Like
Yeah.
you don't even need when you're watching it, it barely even feels like a superhero movie. Like
Yeah,
it's its own thing.
Right, and this is what I can piggyback off of those two things. Also, when you saying because some characters work better with more depth, which is why we can't go on a film perspective anymore. When you see something like Daredevil, The Punisher, you see all these different criteria that go with like a storyline in itself with more ways to show it. I think it depends on the character. I think that's where I'm going.
But when you have like scenes like, okay, here's a good example for where I'm leaning towards like The Dark Knight. When you have scenes like in Civil War where he's like, underoos, and then Spider-Man does a backflip, steals Captain America's shield, and lands with it on the van with Spider-Man having Cap's shield. That's something beyond good filmmaking. That's just comic book nerdery. That's a fan gasm. Yeah, you know what I mean?
This is a cool moment. This is why I respect his point of view, because he's not a fanboy. Like he would see it as a, all right, that was cool.
So I mean, that was a cool moment though.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, seeing Spider-Man Cap's shield, like that's a cool part
and
of Civil War,
and
for sure.
the surrounding that he's in is like, oh, okay, people are, why is this cool? Oh, okay, that's why it's cool.
Yeah, see,
like, you know,
but
like,
in that particular moment, using that as an example, that's not cool because it's a good shot film perspective. So like in a film perspective, you could be like, that's just lazy filmmaking, right?
I mean, could, but it's still like
it's still cool. Like,
moment,
it is satisfying. Yeah.
You?
Well, I mean, not really much. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't really necessarily make it bad. I think even from both perspectives, whether if it's film or not, definitely leans more heavily towards that's fan service. But looking at it unbiasedly, I mean, hell, he's unbiased.
Cool,
so I guess that's my argument for Dark Knight. Though that's my argument. Like I think it is a good film. Like I said, I've said it 1,000 times. It's a great filmmaking. But I do think, in my opinion, I'm so strict to the Batman comics, and I'm just like,
so
doesn't do it for me.
There's not enough fan service.
Yes, exactly. It's too grounded. Like I do understand what they're doing with like the grounded universe. Like they wanted it grounded in this reality, but look at the new Matt Reeves Batman that I'm a huge big excited for, and that is very grounded.
It reminds me of Daredevil. That's all I got to say about that.
The show or the movie?
The show. Like
okay.
The new Batman reminds me. It feels like it's Daredevil. Like I like it's not maybe just the concept of how it looks, but it's just like maybe that's what they're going to try to portray, is that it's more underground, more rugged.
It's supposed to be more detective, right?
Yes,
that
more
sounds
detective.
cool.
And I don't know if that's like them noticing that it worked, and maybe they can implement that into the Batman, kind of ground him more instead of him being up there with all the fucking gods.
Yeah,
he comes back to like his.
That's where you gotta do Batman.
Yeah, and same thing with let's just use the implementation of Joker. Like, how good was that? And how that it doesn't have to be just Joker in the Dark Knight or the Joker. Like, you can get someone with that rich of a content of a character and still make it good. Like, still make it amazingly good. But you're right. Like, I'm trying to think of like a character that can kind of be like the Joker for Disney. And if they drop the ball on that, can it work with Disney?
Question: did you like the Joker
in Dark Knight?
No, the Joker, the movie.
Yes, I actually did love that movie. I would have done it a little different.
Okay.
I was talking
because
about
there's no
night.
Fan service in this movie. Like it's its own thing.
Yes, I do get it. But I do get it. But that at that point. Like, okay, I guess maybe this is my own selfish reasons, but like,
let him hear the selfish reasons.
At that point, like I'm not even joking. As a little kid, I used to watch Batman. I grew up watching Batman, the animated series. And from even at like 9 and 10 years old, I've always wanted just a Joker movie. Like just about Joker's origins. I've always wanted it. But that's me being selfish because at that time, I did not know Joker's comic book origins until I looked it up later. So that was just me in my head making my own,
You just fantasizing about it.
I was just fantasizing about oh, that'd be a cool movie. And I didn't know the comic book origins. Now I do know the comic book origins, and I still like Joker. And it's not very accurate to the comic books at all, at all. But neither is kind of Dark Knight.
That's what I'm saying.
Up until recently, up until after the Dark Knight, Joker never had a cut smile that. Like he never had a scarred face. Like that was kind of the first.
That's the point that I kind of want to get. Like you like the Joker, but didn't like the Dark Knight. But there's no fan service in either of them.
But
so
I think the things about the Dark Knight was Harvey Dent for me. The way they treated Two-Face was just a big oh, God, are you kidding me? That's one of my favorite comic book characters ever. Yeah. And they threw him away like a nasty potato chip. And then they the ending I was excited for. I was like, yes, they arrested the Joker. He's not dead. He can come back for the third one. Well, unfortunately, we all know how that ended with Heath Ledger passing. But I was excited for the third one, obviously, before Heath Ledger, we all knew Heath Ledger passed. But whenever I saw what they did to Two-Face, I was just like, come on. That's where I lost it really as a movie, as a fan of Batman. I was like, come on.
From a cinematic perspective, and let me know your thoughts. I think they did him beautifully because they introduce him, and basically Joker's motive is like not what you're expecting, which is his character. You're not expecting anything that what's thrown at you, and he reveals at the end that it was to bring up Harvey Dent. He's like the symbol, and he brings that symbol down to a level to his level. And if you do that, then the city is like defeated.
Chaos.
It's chaos. Yeah. So from a movie, I think they did that beautifully.
It's a great arc.
But if you're looking at it from
like the character,
if it's not if you're looking at it from a comic book perspective, they totally threw him away.
I compare it to what they did with Venom in Spider-Man 3. Like how Venom was like built up to be this awesome villain, and then all of a sudden he was in it for like one final battle, and then they just kill him, and he just disappears in like a puff of smoke, and then you're like, what?
I feel
like that's my favorite comic book character ever. You just defeated him in a puff of smoke. Like, what is this?
Some bars.
Yeah, it's hard to go before the staple of Iron Man, like pre-Iron Man, and like look at those movies before. But Dark Knight was in there, Spider-Man 2 was in there for like some good ones, X-Men, like Fox owned X-Men, Fantastic Four. I'm trying to think of all those different ones that can be portrayed as good movies. But let's just get to this topic there, because I wanted this kind of bring me up to this. You really think that I guess superhero movies aren't going to be a staple in the next
within the next 5 to 10 years? Yeah, I think it's gonna be something else. I think.
What do you think?
Well, there's just always been trends in movies. You know, westerns were a thing for 10 years. They died out. Young adult adaptations like the Harry Potter's Hunger Games, they've kind of died out. You know what I mean? I think we are in the superhero trend. I don't know what the next trend is, but I do think there will be another trend. And this, I mean, they'll always be around. There will always be superhero movies, but I don't think you get the Endgame hype, because you also have to look at it from the perspective of when Iron Man came out in 2008, right? And then Endgame comes out last year. Kids that watched Iron Man, like when we were kids, honestly, I was probably like, 12, 13 when Iron Man came out, and then I'm like 23 when Endgame, or 22 when Endgame came out. Like, that's a big gap. So a lot of these kids will always watch the next Marvel thing, but a lot of them I think are also going to grow out of the Marvel thing, and it's going to move on to this new thing.
What do you think that new thing is?
I don't know.
What if it shifts to DC? What if it's DC's?
I don't think it's a shift between Marvel or DC. I think it's a shift of a whole new thing. Like, for an example, I don't know if this is the thing. What if video game adaptations
I think video. I was about to say.
Like,
if
The Last of Us show takes over.
They're making a shit. Minecraft, Tomb Raider, Mortal Kombat.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if they're gonna be good.
James
but
you
could argue, but you could argue.
That's why I want to go into that. I think it could be video games.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a movie that done it, or there hasn't been like a formula like Iron Man or Disney to kind of bring it up. But I think it's in the realm, because dude, the gaming industry is just big in general.
Huge.
100%.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with what you guys are saying. I just think, to give it a different perspective, you could go back and think about like when our parents were kids. What were they watching on TV? You know, Hulk was a huge TV show back then, right? And like Batman, that cheesy like.
The cheesiness of it.
Yeah, like what was it, like the 1970s Batman? Like it was all super cheesy, but it was still relevant back then. And I don't know. I do agree with what you're saying. I do think the hype is definitely going to go down. I mean, Endgame felt like a close.
It felt like the finale.
It felt like the
last one. Yeah.
And I do agree with what you're saying, but there will always be people like us sitting at this table.
Of course,
probably
they
always
will.
Go and
they
see
will never die, but
yeah.
They will not be at the level they're
it's
at.
Hard,
you're 100% right.
It's like Disney movies.
I was about to say, I think it's a Disney staple.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna say?
Well, it's like Disney movies. Like, you have people who watch Cinderella when they were younger, and they fucking watch Cinderella when they're 30, 40 years old. Like, it's still gonna be those people, but like, will everyone watch Cinderella? You know, like, will everyone watch?
Yeah, no, I totally
they watch
agree.
Moana for the younger generation. It's always there. Disney always tries to cater to the
I also think
generation.
indie. What do you think about indie films being the next big thing?
I mean, I don't know if indie films will ever be the next big thing, because indie films will always be
indie films. Yes, but what if it's more of like, what if like say in the next like 5 years there becomes like an app that like, kind of like TikTok, but it's more of like
for film. For like people.
You never know. I don't
like
know
that
what
could
kind
be
of
the
technology
next
they're
big.
coming
That
up
could be
with,
the next big thing
Could
that
make
comes
it,
out.
and,
I mean, streaming is going to be taken over.
I guess YouTube is. People are already making short films on YouTube.
100%. I mean, streaming.
Could you argue that those like films on YouTube are indie films?
I mean, to a degree. I mean, indie film nowadays isn't really indie anymore.
And
It's
it's
like real indie.
It's independent,
like when we're talking about making your short film, that's real indie. Indie now is like how Chance the Rapper, right? Is like he's an indie artist technically. It was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it really like that indie though?
Really
he's mainstream.
Yeah.
It's big time. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So my argument there would be the idea of like, why does it have, because is book adaptations ever gonna go away? Do you think so?
I'll never go away, but
do you feel like it's big right now, or is it
the young adult thing? No,
well,
it's not that big.
Have you guys read a book in the past 5 years that you think might be a series, like the next big
I don't read fiction books
what's the next one? Dune? Dune's in
Dune is the next thing.
I mean, they got an A-list cast.
Movie is trash though.
I'm
curious.
Don't deny that. I don't deny that. I mean, I'm just saying, I didn't know about Dune, and then I saw that movie. And I was just like, should I pick up the book?
I mean, the director's great, Danny Villeneuve.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna watch it because it's a movie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna read that's not gonna make me go read the book. But
no.
I think you're right. Harry Potter's done. Now they're doing anthology films on us. All these different Lord of the Rings is done, and The Hobbit's done, and it's like, what's left? Kind of is it just these newer type of
What do you think, DJ?
It's back to what Chase said. It's just Hollywood and the industry just goes with trends. What do because these studios, they want to make money.
Yeah.
And I think I talked about this with you on your last podcast that a studio will always take a franchise that people are familiar with and not a new concept. If it came down to a totally new concept and a Men in Black 5, no one fucking wants to see another Men in Black, especially after the last one. Yeah. But they'll go with that one because people are familiar with it. Whether if you hate it or not, you might go see it.
You might go see
it.
Like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want it, but people are gonna be like, oh shit, you know what? If it's a date night and we don't have shit to do, I'll go watch it. Sure. So when it comes to that's my big argument that I had on your pod, the last one is new content. We're going into a wave of adaptations, remakes, and things like that. But you can never really call a trend or guess it because
I'm gonna call one right now.
What is it? Call it right now.
Yeah.
We'll check back 5 years from now.
We'll check back.
It's already starting. It's already starting. Monster movies, not just Godzilla and King Kong. They're already gonna make Godzilla versus King Kong.
You're talking about Universal ones,
and Universal. Well, they were trying to reboot it, but I think it failed, right? It failed. But other companies besides Universal can do that. I think.
But what monsters are you talking about then? Besides,
I'm saying they're already talking about rebooting the Predators. They're already talking about doing.
They did just reboot Predator.
Yeah, they're talking about
Shane Black directed. I did not like it.
Yeah, but I think monster movies. I think movies and they could be independent or not independent, but they could be something kind of Cloverfield. What was
found footage?
Well, no, I consider when I'm talking about big monster movies or Alien Attack. I think those are going to be the next big epic, and they're going to try to go off Marvel and be like, oh, you want to see this huge praying mantis in this movie, and he's going to also be a bad guy that's going to fight with this King Kong and
I think we can speak for men, but I think we just love seeing giant things fight. Robots, monsters.
It's entertainment. Yeah.
If you think about that, it's almost what Transformers was.
Exactly.
And then Transformers got kind of everyone's all right, we've had enough.
But people see it for the
Have you guys ever played with the action figures or played the video games Rampage?
Rampage.
And they made that. They tried to make that movie with The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I completely forgot that happened.
Yeah, it was not very good, right? Yeah. It wasn't very good. But
I didn't see it.
There was a similar franchise that was early in the '90s called Primal Rage.
Mm-hmm. But that would be video game. That would be video game.
Why can't they bring it to the big screen?
No. I agree. I'm just saying that would be.
Those were my favorite. Those were my favorite action figures as a kid. And also, do you remember Street Sharks? That's another monster-ish. Street Sharks or Battletoads. Did you guys play Battletoads?
Yeah, I played Battletoads.
They just remade Battletoads. They just remade Battletoads.
Okay.
Yeah, on the Xbox. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm just
no.
I just think things that are not considered superheroes, but they still kind of are almost in that superhero category. Big action, sci-fi.
Yeah, I could
shoot
see
it with they have a monster in the military, kind of very similar to the way a big Marvel movie would be shot, like a Hulk movie, right? We haven't had a lot of Hulk movies lately.
How far though can you go with that concept of monsters destruction?
I don't know, man. I mean, after 2020, I think there's going to be a huge urge for fucking destruction.
I
think everyone's going to be like, let's see it.
That's it's going to be COVID movies.
I'm calling it. I think that's going to be the trend.
Zombies?
No, there's going to be 4 COVID-19 movies in the next 5 years.
I think
Tom Hanks is the doctor that hears about it.
I do think we're going to get a plethora of documentaries about 2020. 2020.
You
and
don't
about,
think they'll
like,
make stories out of it? I feel like they would.
It's too triggering for some people, dude. It's like they don't make 9/11 big movies. Like,
Yeah.
well, they're more
They
serious.
have.
They have. They've made like 2 big ones that we could think of. What was that one movie that it was a plot twist at the very end? It was 9/11.
The Robert Pattinson one.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've heard about it, though.
Dude, it was so good. It was actually a good movie. I liked it.
Was it?
Yeah, I liked it. It was like my ex-girlfriend made me watch it, and she was like,
that
"What
why
do
you
you think
like
of this?" And it was like a sappy little love story, right? And then at the very,
Right?
and at the very
Sounds
end, dude, at the very end, also there's like I was kind of like, whatever, this movie's okay. And at the very end, you see this big smoke cloud, and you hear like screams, and they open the door, and it's like the freaking towers are falling. Like, what? This is a 9/11 movie? What?
Oh, that's crazy. That's
Dude.
crazy.
Dude, it's
Kind of fucked up.
What's the movie called?
I don't remember the name, dude.
No one knows the name of it. Yeah, it's just like Robert Pattinson.
It's just that Robert Pattinson 9/11
and
movie?
he is. At
Dude,
the
it's
end
like
of 9/11,
it's like
yeah.
I said, 3/4 of the movie is like a sappy love story, and then
Yeah, it's
something
just a
happens,
twist at the
and he's
end.
like, "Bye, honey, I'll see you tomorrow. Have fun at work." And then he's like in. I don't want to spoil it, but like
I
he's,
mean,
It's
it's
too
We
late.
already
It's like-
spoiled it, yeah.
he's
it's
like
a
in the
historical,
Twin
like-
Tower, dude. Like,
it's crazy. Okay, so we talked about that. We talked
all
about
right,
the trend.
monster
We talked
movies are
about-
not gonna be the big thing, but I do think we're gonna see a lot more of.
Oh, that was the point I was trying to make. Like, there's no way of like calling it. Like,
There's no
honestly.
way of calling it.
No one called the wave of the books.
yeah.
Like,
But Godzilla will always be around.
Oh yeah.
Like,
He's
if
always
we
been
can,
around.
can
And
we
he always will
name
be.
can we name a movie that came out recently that hit that wasn't a trendy thing?
That wasn't a trendy thing.
Yeah, like
I
it
mean,
wasn't like a monster movie. It wasn't a
Tenet was
superhero
big
movie.
recently. That's
I mean,
a
But
trend.
what? See,
Yeah.
and that's what I think. That's what. What is it? The whole suspense type of movie that's coming up
I
right
think
now.
it was.
You know what's
Some people. Oh, you're good. I think some people like Christopher Nolan. I think some people are like, yo, I just want to see a movie. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
itching to see it.
I wouldn't necessarily say Tenet would like spar out a trend because it's just like an original concept.
No,
You
yeah.
have to find like an idea, and then a trend would start at like books. Found footage was a huge trend with Paranormal Activity that like sparked the whole.
Oh,
fucking-
yeah.
And then that died out.
Yeah, and then you have the book adaptation with Maze Runner, Hunger Games, Divergent. What you'd have to take like an idea or a concept, and Tenet is just like that's just an original, which is fucking crazy.
I
No,
still
yeah,
need
it's
to see
fucking
it.
crazy.
I
I
still
think
need to
that-
see
I
But
it.
you can
haven't
argue
seen
also since it's Nolan and like people
I
like
love time
Interstellar
travel
and
movies,
Inception.
See, but I think
Maybe
I
Nolan
feel
will
like
be the new
I
trend.
feel like that's the new indie.
Yeah, you're
Time
right.
travel?
Well, not time. Well, just the like that whole Interstellar, thinking outside the
Dude.
box, shroom it up, and kind of like, look, what if
up.
philosophy is just like just whatever? But I feel like that's like a trend right now.
Speaking of
and
Interstellar, though, bro, that movie changed.
It changed
like,
a lot.
Everyone's
See,
perspective
Tenet
on like,
would be like
time
another
and
one.
space.
Inception.
Holy
I'm
cow.
watching it again this Tuesday with someone who's
So
never seen
sad.
it.
Interstellar.
It is so
Yeah,
sad.
I got a
Dude,
friend who's never
Interstellar-
seen it. I'm like, you're gonna watch this shit.
I love
Okay,
it.
I think time has passed enough where we can spoil Interstellar a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah,
so
it's-
okay, the guy who's on
Spoiler.
spoilers,
Interstellar.
Interstellar
For all
spoilers.
You should watch it.
Idiots
You
that
need to
haven't
wa-
watched the
yeah,
movie
this
yet.
movie came
You
out
haven't seen
like
it?
12 years ago.
I haven't.
Oh, okay. I was gonna be like,
That's all
"Bro."
he's
say-
doing at this point.
I'll say
Yeah.
for all the other people that don't have it.
Yeah,
or,
go see
haven't
Interstellar.
seen it.
But let me just say this: the guy who's in the spaceship for what 20 years? He was in the spaceship for 20 years. He was basically like he was a prisoner to time. He was a time prisoner, almost like the Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Indiana Jones movie, the Holy Grail one, where he's looking for the Holy Grail, and he runs into the temple, and there's that Knights Templar who has been there since
for a long
since
time.
like
Long
hundreds of
time.
years, and he was like a time prisoner. It's like the same concept. Like that guy was like, I haven't seen anyone in 20 years. It's like, how mentally
Are you
messed
talking about
up?
Matt Damon's character? You talking about
The dude who stayed in the spaceship when
Oh,
everyone.
the black
you're
guy.
talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that
yeah.
guy.
Oh, I don't know about Matt
He
Damon.
literally was like, "Oh, why you guys are
Haven't
down there on the
seen
planet?"
you in 20
I'm
he was
gonna
just
just
reading.
He was like, "I'm gonna conduct research."
So
Yeah.
many times I just wanted
You
to.
just stuck
How
up there until the
messed-
scene came back.
Dude, how messed up is
I'm
that?
big. Before
It's
I wanted to
kinda
be a director and like do filmmaking and all that, I wanted to become an astronomer. So when it comes to space, like I'm all about it. I can spit facts. I read
Hell
like at a
yeah,
college
dude.
level. Like that shit was. I just was really shitty
I
at
love
math.
space.
So I was like, "Fuck it, I can't do this."
So
But
what about
Inter-
space movies? Yeah, like us.
Interstellar, dog, like the whole thing, it was so somewhat. It kind of like went into the sci-fi, but that whole shit with like black holes, that shit is like legit, and it
Yeah,
scares so many
100%.
people.
Have
When
you seen The Martian?
Yes.
Yes.
What'd you think of it?
It's actually like fairly accurate,
Very
like
accurate.
how you would survive
What's
on
his
Mars
name?
because there's no.
Neil deGrasse said the Martian is much more accurate
Dude, it's
Yeah.
to what will happen.
yeah, it's probing us for the future.
Yeah, man, it's
like-
crazy. And when they explain that whole black hole, like I know so many people who can't grasp that concept, and so they just automatically throw it out the
Take
window
some-
like it's bad. And it's like, bro, if you
Just
understood it,
you can understand a little bit more.
Can we just talk about aliens? Like, dude, they visited. Come on, they
You're
visited.
big on the
talking
ghost
about
thing, aliens, bro, everything.
For real.
Yeah, man. When they get on that planet, and like because the planet is within the vicinity of what's called the event horizon. It's like right outside the event horizon. Once you pass it, you like everything about you, time itself, is going into this black hole.
Yeah,
this
nothing escapes it.
This planet is right on the edge. So time is faster than everything else because it manipulates time. And this dude's on a spaceship. So dog, when they did that, it was. I was like, no way, that shit is crazy. He went there. Nolan actually went there. It was so dope. I love it.
It's just crazy to me how much like movies get influenced by science, like that. Like they would bring in so many scientists on this on this project and just say like, how can we create an awesome fictional story but make it seem so real?
Yeah.
And that's what's baffling me, especially now. Like they're doing that with a lot of these movies, and I wouldn't say, even like the Inception movie, even like just thinking of like there you would see YouTube people just like deciphering that whole movie. Annihilation was one of them. It's like goes back to aliens and like it's just
that's what Mitch wants.
Yeah, but I'm just what I'm saying. Like
alien,
they try to like it's like how can we bring these two universes together? And it's just like,
what's your guys' favorite time travel movie?
Favorite time travel?
Yeah.
I'd have to pull
I
my
know.
list.
There's this one I can't think of the name, but
Hot Tub Time Machine.
you can find it on you can find it on YouTube. There's this one I really like a lot. It starts with a P. I can't remember.
Primer?
Primer. Have you seen Primer?
Primer's fucking great.
Dude, it's so good, dude. I feel like that's how
And they
time
made it for
travel.
like $5,000. That's real indie. If we're talking real
Yeah,
indie.
dude.
Which was that movie
That
they made
is
with the
a
iPhone?
That's a lot of movies.
Is it time travel movies?
Well, I
Maybe
don't
Primer.
know. I don't
Who
know.
knows?
I don't
Primer
know
was
if
an iPhone, yeah, but
I didn't even change
Primer was
subject. Yeah,
sweet.
right.
Talk about short films with a low budget. Like that's one for sure, and it's very smart the way that they did it. Like it's very smart the way that. Have you seen Primer?
I have not.
Dude, it's a very if you're talking about time travel in a realistic way, other than Interstellar, like going to space, like Primer is it, dude.
Primer is
Put
like
that on the list.
Primer is the one that's like you watch 3 hours of YouTube videos after because you're like, hey, I thought I was smart, and then
But
I
I'm
watched
not
Primer.
smart.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's like it's one of those movies where it's like the ideas behind of what shape can we put in that. You're like,
they find time travel by accident, like. Right? Am I correct?
Kinda.
It was like by accident.
I haven't seen it in a while, but
they're trying to make like anti-gravity, I think, or they were trying to like make things like float or like change the weight of gravity, or like they were trying to like.
It's very science.
They were trying to like figure out the equation to control gravity. I think that's what they were trying to do, and they accidentally grew this bacteria. Like they realized that they grew this bacteria, and the bacteria has the ability to time travel, and it's like they use it to like build this machine, basically build a time machine. And then the whole time travel thing, it's very complicated. I don't want to get into
realities, different.
I don't have
the seventh dimension. Like it's
insane.
I don't have a favorite time travel movie, but I do have a favorite time travel like concept, which is a series. It's a show, and putting it out there, I watch anime. And this show,
You don't say.
I'm gonna put that out there right now. I wholeheartedly
no
believe.
superheroes for me, no anime.
I wholeheartedly believe and stand by the point that anime brings a lot of originality that Hollywood does not have or won't take the risk to do.
100%, yeah.
They have a good niche for them, and I think I'm not saying they don't stem from like our niches and like and how that influences what they make, but you're not wrong. Like there's a different side of anime that Hollywood just can't portray.
They
try to make adaptations.
Dude, they need to normalize bringing back the big screen anime movies. Like they used to when we were kids. They had Pokemon on the big screen.
See,
like,
but would that translate? We talked about
yeah.
translation, like Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Would that translate well? And I actually stand by the fact, like when it comes to those big ones, you can't.
Yeah.
Like someone moving at a speed like that, doing a Kamehameha, whatever, it just comes off as too
much,
too unrealistic, too cartoony,
Yeah.
and like the way that they talk, like a lot of animes are very inner monologue. It won't translate.
Okay, well let's chime on this. I want to see their perspective because we talked about it, but
you don't watch anime, right?
No,
I've seen some like Studio Ghibli, like Hayao Miyazaki
movies, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's the idea of 2D animation and 3D animation. It's like it does like it's the and it's how we see like why these new Disney adaptations of real life aren't really hitting like the animated ones are. Is it just because we're older? Probably even the younger audience probably doesn't like it. I don't know the reason why, but even like why 2D animation stuff doesn't come up anymore.
It's a charm, dude.
It was a charm.
It's cheaper to make 3D too now.
That is true.
As opposed to
It's a charming thing then. It's like
see, I love the shows like we were talking about this the other day, Rick and Morty. Like where Rick and Morty, it is I believe it's 3D, right? 3D animated, but it looks like it's drawn, but it's not. It's like animated with a computer and everything, but it looks like it's like hand drawn.
Yeah.
And I love that style. There's a lot of people that have that style, and sometimes people say it comes up too much in animation. That like Rick and Morty type of style, like where they have like the big eyeballs, and like all of Cartoon Network kind of looks the same now. But
in a movie sense, you don't think it'll work anymore.
No.
I think it would work.
I think people would love a new 2D like
Because
movie.
the last Disney one that was like that was
like
the
Brother Bear, right?
Princess and the Frog. Was,
Really?
That was like
Was it really?
it was the last one that they made. After that, they went straight.
I love that movie.
Yeah, so do I. It's a great
Yeah, it's
movie.
Good.
Well, maybe it does work.
I think Rick and Morty would work because there's just so much satire. Like you can't take it seriously. But when you take an anime like Dragon Ball Z or something, they're
People
very
already
serious.
see, people have that seriousness with
And
it.
so like when that drama's hitting with someone, it's like can you really take serious someone?
Yeah.
But Rick and Morty is very silly satire, kind of like I don't know. No, I actually don't think. Do you think Family Guy would translate well? I don't think
Having a Peter
Translate
Griffin
well
double chin
into a
guy
film.
into a film.
I mean, they made the Simpsons movie. Simpsons movie's great. South Park movie, great.
Okay,
Oh no. I mean like live action.
Live action.
Oh, live action.
Yes.
Did you guys see Pet Detective or Pikachu Detective?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
I fucking love that.
Did you like
movie.
it?
I loved
didn't
it.
see it.
Okay, I just love Ryan Reynolds. Let's go with that.
I kind of liked it. I mean, it was fun. It had like
It was fun.
It had cameos.
Yeah,
of
it was
Pokemon.
It was a
But when
fun movie.
I didn't
When
review
you
on
see
it.
the Pokemon, it did make it feel like, what? It should just be animated.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
there was
weird.
that
It's
weird
just
feeling
weird.
where you're like,
it
just
doesn't
animate.
translate well. It just
They were trying to because Pokemon, like, there's so much richness to it that maybe they'd see how it delivers, but it's also a video game movie. Like,
It reminded me of Roger Rabbit, like the Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where it's half animated, half live action. It was kind of
Looney
like,
Tunes. Was it
like
called?
Looney
yeah,
Tunes,
and it was kind of that's kind of how Pikachu did the detective movie,
but with
yeah.
a 3D animation.
It was
instead
kind of
2D.
like that, yeah. It was, and that might be more popular in the future. I don't know.
Okay. Well, okay, so let's talk about something maybe more controversial, and it has to do with maybe it dying out. Is the idea of humor and the idea of like we've seen all these movies that were funny back in the day, not funny anymore. Why is that? And it's like it just makes you think like which movie, Tropic Thunder, all
Cancel
the scary
culture.
movies.
Dude, I think Tropic Thunder is always gonna be funny, bro.
I agree, bro. But there's cancel culture people out there that's gonna 100% disagree, and they're like.
Look at like
And this is what I'm saying. Where do you think humor is going right now? Where do you think is it just going to be a subgenre in a movie, like where they just kind of sprinkle it in, or are we going to see some out of the world fucking Tropic Thunder movies and maybe Scream or scary movies out there?
I think we still see it.
Yeah.
Where? But
They'll always be around, but the thing is, humor's always, like 2000s humor is different than 80s humor. It's different than 2020 humor. You know what I mean? And I think the problem that why movies aren't as funny anymore. I'll just be straight up.
Go ahead, straight up. Bring
I
the
think
mic
the
a little
internet
bit.
is too funny for movies now. Like as people on Twitter, like I see shit on Twitter that is way funnier than like a 2-hour movie. I mean, I don't do the TikTok thing.
I do
but like, but I just think we as a culture, like everyone's gotten funnier to the point where it's harder to make people laugh with a movie now.
you think
you
that's
know
a
what's
weird?
okay,
I think so.
Okay, do you think if Superbad would come out now, it would be popular? Or do you
Yes,
think it'd
Superbad is still hilarious.
Superbad is so funny, dude.
Like,
it is one
yeah.
of the funniest.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. This is so weird. We were
You
talking
look
about this-
pretty.
We were talking about this the other day, and and then I know you were about to say something, so I'll just make this quick.
No,
But
you
the movie, hold on, we were talking about Superbad, and if it came out today, I do think it would be funny. But some of the people who make like are part of the cancel culture and like are like super woke, some of the people that consider themselves woke and part of the cancel culture think their favorite TV show is The Office, and The Office is one of the raunchiest humor. Like they say some of the worst things in The Office, and it's like
They say racist stuff all the
They
time.
say so
They
many
homophobic
racist
stuff all the
jokes.
time. Yeah, it's the same thing.
they
like
make
racist
they make
sex,
gay
anything,
jokes, like they
anything.
make
Like, you can do
anything goes.
Anything goes, and I don't know. I just think it's like it depends on who, like how much the audience and how much like the fans would actually like tell people to make it. And it is like I think now we're in an age where the audience has a say so, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, especially for let's just say a director.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, or screenwriter, or someone that's producing a movie. If the say so is going to influence how you create your movie. And
For some people it does.
And that's what I'm saying. I think even for like creators like freaking dude, I'm a big Like, I love Pulp Fiction. I love all of these different Tarantino movies, man.
Did I tell you that story of Django?
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, how controversial it gets just because of the image of somebody has like Tarantino. And I'm like, the last movie he just came out with, gold. I loved it.
Dude, I need to see it. I need to see it so bad.
And there's topics about that it's not even humor that I feel like, oh man, like, is he gonna defend how he sees his movie, or is he gonna sell out and say
Tarantino will never sell out?
That's what I'm saying.
Tarantino is the last person that would sell out.
But there's people that do, and I'm just saying, is that gonna be on a humor standpoint? Is that gonna be on a horror standpoint? Is that gonna be on a we can't talk about?
What do you think about Tarantino?
Well, I was actually gonna say a story about Tarantino. He was on an interview and he was saying when he was writing the script for Django, he was actually very hesitant to go through with it because he's going back to slavery times and then getting a slave and then basically making him the protagonist of the whole movie. And he was like, this is going to offend a lot of people. And he reached out. I forget who. I don't know if you heard this story, so maybe you can. I forget who he reached out to.
We'll chime in if we figure it out.
I think it was I think another writer or another director or whatever. And he was like, I don't know if I should release this. And his bro was like, yo, fuck it. Like, put it out. You shouldn't be scared of what other people are going to think, because the whole point of directing and making these films is like escapism, and you're limiting your creations based off of what you think people
would want to see
or what they should see, when it's just like your escapism. So he was like, all right, and he went through with it. Django's fucking fire, bro.
Yeah.
That movie is so
heart's beating throughout the whole process.
There's something to be said about this, and I know this might be repetitive because we talked about Stephen King last time on the last podcast. But there's something to be said about some directors and writers who are just actually insane, and they'll probably admit it too. Like, they're actually insane.
You kind of have to.
And the things
are you saying in a good sense?
No, in a good. Insane is insane, but like they're geniuses. Like, they actually are geniuses. And the artwork that it is artwork. Film is art.
Yes.
The artwork that they produce is so good, and there's texture there. You know what I mean? You're like I just want to bite. It's like a cake that you just want to eat, and you're like, it's so good. It might be controversial, but they're like, I'm gonna give you the reality. Yeah. I'm gonna hit you in the face with the reality, and you can't see it coming. Yeah. And sometimes we were talking about this last time, but like, Quentin Tarantino's very good at being grounded in like what he wants to do and like what he wants to portray. Sometimes Stephen King goes a little off the rails, and like that might just be due to other reasons, but because they are insane. But it's very rare breed of people to be able to do what they do, and I love it. Like, I absolutely love it.
I think we just like appreciate it. Like, just we appreciate the creation and the work that goes into it, and the actual like final product. And there's people out there who just look at the message that the movie delivers.
Yeah,
you shouldn't. There's no message. Yeah. It's a movie.
It's built for entertainment.
It's artwork. It's to create that suspension of disbelief, that escapism, and people want more realism and like motive and politics added to these movies. That there should be no politics.
And half the time they don't even see the movie. They just
and they don't even talk about. They don't see the movie. They just hear about what the message probably might be. Yeah. It's not even the message. Like, the director might put out this movie like, oh, this is symbolism or foreshadowing. No, dog. I just wanted him to stab him.
Yeah. Like Tarantino's very good at, like, most directors, they might like tell the story in a perspective of somebody telling a story. If that makes any sense. Like a lot of people tell the story of a movie. A lot of people tell the story of a movie almost as though it's being written out of a book or read out of a book.
Right.
Tarantino's like, I'm going to give you the blood and guts. I'm going to give you what it actually was. Like, I don't.
Sometimes it is blood and guts.
Yeah, and sometimes it is blood. I'm going to give you the raw footage. Like, he wants to give you what you want to see, like the raw footage.
Chase, you've been quiet. What do you think?
Been quiet?
Yeah.
Just about Tarantino?
Well, just in general. This whole topic.
Just in general. I mean, Tarantino is a cool guy. You know, he's out of his fucking mind for sure, but he is a very cool guy. I like how he's like, hey, I'm doing 10 movies, then I'll do something else. I'll write books. I'll write plays. I might make a show. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Who's your favorite director?
Damn, you can't ask me that question.
Yes, man.
I mean, like top 5. We're talking.
We'll go top 3.
Off the top of your head.
Top 3 is too low, man.
Better than top 5.
Nolan, Michael Haneke, Richard Linklater.
Nolan's really?
Scorsese's up there.
Scorsese, man.
Damn, bro. I don't know. I mean, like,
you covered it.
There's a lot.
You covered it.
I mean, that might be my Mount Rushmore. It changes all the time.
It does, man. I would go.
You said Scorsese and you had me.
I see. That's the thing. Even like in my perspective, because maybe it just influences from like how I grew up. But like Robert Rodriguez, fucking Guillermo del Toro, all these different people that bring a sense of like my life coming into the big screen. It's like, that's so cool. Yeah. But see, that's the thing about like why I want to narrow it down to 3 because. You could pick perspectives from so many different things, maybe just because it's just what entertains you about you or about somebody else. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But that's the beauty about it. And I remember, I think I talked to you about this, and I was like, how for a film director and all that stuff, like, can a movie only be limited just by like who you are? Like, I guess like because let's just say. You're
like
African.
how you connect with it.
Exactly. Like and like let's just say that you want to create a fucking awesome Mexican movie.
Yeah.
Can you? And will you?
You can.
Exactly. That you can. Yeah. But will it be good? And can you relate and all that stuff? And I just think I don't want to limit myself if I want to create a fucking movie or biopic about something that isn't like Hispanic or isn't some shit. And I'm just like I'm like I think you can do it. I feel like that. I don't know what y'all think, but I'm like...
You could and you can. You just might get shit for it. Maybe.
Say, I mean, I'm fine with that.
There's always gonna be someone that...
It depends on how authentic you make it, you know what I mean? Like, it just depends, like...
What does authentic mean is, I mean, let's say, you want to add some...
I think a guy could direct a great Wonder Woman movie. I don't know if it would be as good as the Wonder Woman movie they made, you know what I mean? Like, you just don't know until someone makes it.
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
Do you guys limit yourself on, like, a certain genre you guys won't make, or...
That we won't make?
Yeah, won't make.
I mean, I'm open to anything. I want to make one of everything eventually when I have like money to make feature films and shit.
I don't want to make a musical.
I don't want to make a musical. Like,
I would make a musical.
Dude, musicals are probably gay, but I fucking love musicals.
I had this concept
musicals are not gay.
I had this concept of, what if I made a rap musical? And then I heard Hamilton is a rap musical.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. I just like I've watched.
We're just like, I'm fucking good shit up. Let's clarify. I'm dumb as fuck. So don't take whatever I say fucking serious. And I'm gonna say that.
I mean, musicals aren't gay, but they're a little gay. But they're not gay. But they're.
I've only seen like 3 or 4 well, no, I've probably seen more, but and there's no particular reason. I don't know. I feel
like you would make when it would suck.
I've seen I love La La Land. I saw La La Land.
I've never seen it. Great.
I love La La Land. What's another one?
No, Moonlight one.
Singing in the Rain. Great. The Greatest Showman.
Have you gone to Silver Moon Drive-In Theater, dude? I saw it there.
Oh, that's sweet.
Probably the best way to watch it.
Moulin Rouge, come on.
Okay, Moulin Rouge.
I've not seen Moulin Rouge. It's one that's always been on my watch list.
I've been there in real life. I've seen the theater that's based off of.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
Chicago, another one.
Chicago.
There's there's a lot of them. There's Sing Street.
It was
like
much every Disney movie.
I don't know. I just can't. I don't know.
I didn't like Les Mis. I'm not
what?
gonna say that.
I agree.
Les
Mis was boring as hell.
It's boring as fuck, bro. Like,
it was long.
To captivate me, I guess you gotta make it more La La Land.
They sing every damn word. I'm like,
fucking.
Oh damn, there's no break. Everything's on music.
They're like, no, I gotta go get this bread, and they're like singing.
They start singing.
Yeah, I'm like, no.
Okay, what about something like this? What about like Muppets? You like that type of musical?
Well,
I was
that's
never
Disney, bro. I feel like Disney has
Jim
its
Henson.
own like.
It's Jim Henson, right?
Sure. Okay. What do y'all think?
I mean, The Lion King is like a musical.
The fucking Coco.
Lion King's banging.
Like,
everyone loves some music, right?
Yeah, but what makes it a musical? Is
I haven't seen Hamilton. I have not seen
Hamilton. It's the musical numbers.
Just okay. So then, all of Disney movies are they musicals?
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically.
They are musicals.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, all of them.
If you have like more than 3 times in a movie where you start singing to the camera, it's a musical.
It's a musical.
Finding Nemo is not a musical, but they do have Finding Nemo the musical.
Yeah, Pixar movies.
Shit. Is Shrek a musical?
They got one.
They made a musical.
But Shrek has...
Dude, for real? Like, I'm just thinking about that.
And they also sing in Shrek. There's like a few times where there's like music.
Actually, yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
But they're not like singing along really.
Wipe your shoes, wipe your...
That was the.
I mean, Shrek was just like a parody of Disney.
Yeah,
so
for real.
It could be a parody musical, you know.
So if it's a parody musical,
I like that Boulder. That's a nice Boulder. I love that movie. Fucking okay. So now we're gonna get into like how we see the because this is I saw this in the news maybe a long time ago. Someone can probably Google this. I don't know, but it was just the idea of like the movie going experience, going to the theater and stuff like that was going down. Plundering. Maybe it's just because of everything that's happened with COVID and it sucks right now with like the way that this routine this is gonna play out. What do you think is gonna happen? Do you think that is it gonna be to the point where we don't want to go to movies anymore, or is it gonna be like, hey, we're gonna get a box, all the new movies are gonna be on that box where we get a bunch of like people from the house and we just watch it in the house? Oh, we're gonna go back to drive-in movie theaters. I feel like that's a big thing too, honestly.
Cool.
Yeah, I went to one, man. I fucking loved it.
Yeah,
and it was just
awesome.
like, and they're showing new releases. They showed even Black Panther just to montage everything that was going on.
Yeah.
But what do you think? What is your depiction of how you see the people to enjoy these new movies coming out?
Well, but I think it was Spielberg or George Lucas a couple years ago said that movie theaters are going to become like Broadway, where like you can go spend $25 to see a movie in the theater. It's going to be more like a luxurious event.
Who said this?
It was either Spielberg or George Lucas a couple years ago.
Yeah, don't quote him, but
It's
some
definitely one of those two. Yeah,
the idea.
I was like, I think that's definitely an interesting way to look at it, because what Disney Plus did with Mulan, that's going to be the new norm very soon, I think. Just because, especially after a pandemic, and theaters can only sell like 25% of their seats or whatever. It's like they were already struggling before.
But that's the thing, even movie theaters don't make the money. Like that, all the money that they make from the...
It's concessions.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
So it's rough for them right now, for sure. But they will be around, but it's going to be... Streaming's taking over, man. Streaming is just... It's close to killing the theater. Almost killing the theater in a sense like... It is going to be more of a, oh, you guys want to go to the movies? Like it's more like an event type thing, as opposed to, oh, let's just go chill at the movies. Right. If that makes any sort of sense.
I mean, dude, back in the day, we're like, hey, you want to go to the movies? And we all
exactly.
like, but now
it's more like oh, do we want to dish out that $25-$30 to go see something on a really cool screen?
Bro, do you think it's... You hear this a lot, too. It's like, I'll just wait until it comes on Netflix. Or something like that. You hear that a lot now.
Yeah. In a weird way, do you think time's almost reversing, where at the beginning of the history of going to the movies was a special thing and you did have to save up that money to go? Yeah. And then it became a normal thing, and now it's slowly going back to that special. Isn't that weird how things like that work?
History tends to repeat itself right there. What do you think, though?
That's what I think. I agree 100% with what you're saying. It's going to be something more special. I've always kind of looked at it as something a little bit more special growing up, even seeing Harry Potter in the theaters, being like, I love the theaters.
Yeah.
I love the theaters, man.
Yeah.
It's an experience. I fucking love going to the theater.
The smell of popcorn. Trying to find your seat in the dark.
Nothing beats it, bro. Nothing beats it.
Nothing does beat. I agree. It was a lady, or she came on the podcast. She's a big theater nut, and we were just comparing. Like, I'm a film guy. She's a theater girl, and so we were just kind of like comparing like which one has the more like high end. Like, would we go see a film? We'd go see like a theater show, like I go to the theater. It's like, well, they're kind of the same realm, I would say, but at the same time, it's just like, which one makes you feel more? Like,
bro, I remember when Endgame came out. Spoiler alert! But I remember hearing the crowd when Cap goes and gets the hammer. Yeah. Like, oh my god!
You can get that with your boys at home, but it's not gonna be like a stadium.
It's that vibe once you get in there. You're just like,
my thing with theaters, but I think the reason why I love it so much is because if you watch it from home, like you still have like kind of like existential type of like living and problems on. You go in a theater, like it's just the fucking movie.
Yeah, that is
like
true.
It's just the movie. You're not taking no phones. Don't take out your fucking phone.
Your boy's not coming in to cook eggs. You know what I'm saying?
You're not smelling eggs
while
you're watching the movie.
The dog's not barking.
No dog, no cars, no planes. You're in the movie to watch the movie, and I think that's why I like it so much. It's like my escape. Like, movies itself is an escape, but going into a theater where that's the only thing to focus on.
It's the movie going experience.
Yeah, it gives you that, what's the endorphins in your brain? What's it called? Dopamine. It gives you dopamine. And it's almost like a drug, dude. It's like the same
therapeutic.
thing.
Therapeutic.
It's the same thing as going to like a live concert, right? Like, what's better, listening to the song on your radio or like being there and feeling the energy in the air, right? Like, movie's not as intense now, but like, it's the same thing, right? It's like that, especially at premiere. Like, if you were on the red carpet, dude, the energy would be high. I can only imagine.
I just feel like now that more technology is kind of ramping up.
Yeah. You get a nice 70-inch 4K TV and it's like a surround sound setup for you can split between 4 or 5 roommates.
You can have that movie going experience right there. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's just like that. How luxurious do you want to make it? But the reason I'm saying luxurious can also mean affordable, and I think at some point, technology, it will ramp up to a point where that could be the luxurious thing. Like let me get the opinions on, because we talked about this a little bit with SeaWorld on the roller coaster experience, but having a VR sort of thing, do you think at some point this whole movie going experience will end up going to a VR AI type
100%. That is future filming.
What do you think?
They haven't gotten there yet, but VR is 100%, whether it be for games and or
horror is a big one. Walkthroughs and shit going.
They will scare the shit out of you for sure. I think
it's just like putting it.
I don't know if it's gonna be more like film or video. I think the future of video games is for sure, because we were talking about this because we pulled out the GameCube the other day. Me and Adam are playing NBA Street, right? And we're like, damn, the jump from like GameCube graphics, like 360 graphics, huge. 360 to the Xbox One, it's like, okay. Xbox One to like the next Xbox is like, yeah, it's like you're waiting for the next big thing. When VR is like, you like plugs into your brain and you are like a soldier, like going around shooting robots, like I think that's the thing 20 years from now, and that shit's gonna be absolutely crazy.
I think that's gonna but like everybody's reality is gonna want to be in that shit.
Yeah, like
Ready Player One.
That is 100%. Well, it's got to be.
You watch movies, you play games to escape real life, and fucking VR.
Like, yeah, dude.
No.
What better way to escape than to escape? Like, you're not gonna be in life anymore.
Yeah.
You're just in the game.
Yeah. So should we just adapt to that, or we just try to like hold the charm of like movie going?
You always have to adapt.
True.
It's like, hey, do you want to get into it, or do you not want to get into it?
I want to ask you guys a question.
Okay,
this is and the audience, you can chime in too. Leave a comment down below.
Leave a comment down below.
This was actually a psychology a question. I took psychology in college, philosophy. This is a philosophy question, it is
philosophy.
If you had 10 years, given an opportunity to be 10 years in the Matrix, or 10 years upon this earth experiencing, whatever we're experiencing now, like a normal life, or 10 years in the Matrix, but you can experience whatever, and it feels almost like literally exactly the same as what it does now. It's just synthetic, right? It's not real. It's not real. You're plugged into the Matrix, but you're in there for 10 years. You could do whatever you wanted, dude. Like whatever you wanted. Any weird fantasy you have, you could live it out. Would you do it? But it's not real. Like you probably forget.
But when you get out, it's like, oh shit.
Right. You wasted
once
10
you're
years.
in, like you're gonna want to go back in.
How much could you learn in that 10 years, and how much experience could you? And like also, you got to think about it. We're all in our mid-20s, like we're in our prime, right? Like, would you like maybe if you're in your 60s, you might do it from 60 to 70, right? But like, would you do it now? Like, that's my question.
I think
I'd rather accomplish it here.
Honestly,
even with 2020 in this crazy world.
When I'm like 80, give me the pill, man. I'll go in for sure.
Yeah, because at some point that you're kind of like you want to go back to something that was like 20 years or when they were 20, and you're gonna want to like relive some sort of aspects of that. So yeah, I would do it now, honestly. Like,
what if I said that part of the experience could be reliving some of your greatest memories and things that you've ever experienced?
But I'll do it when I'm old.
But the thing
is,
it
would give you the opportunity, like, not to get deep, but like people that have passed away, you could hang out with them again. Like you could do things like that.
That would be cool.
Yeah. And I think it also maybe someone had a fucking traumatic experience that aren't strong enough to want to change it and go back. Yeah. And then there's people that are like, fuck it, let me fucking do this just to see how my life would have played out. Mm-hmm. So it's like, but the only strength I have with that is that you said it's 10 years, and it's like, that there's a cutoff point.
Yeah, I do want to go to Hogwarts and cast spells though. Like that's one thing I really want to do. Maybe have a lightsaber fight with Darth Vader.
Deep down, that's
why you brought up the question.
Like meet the crew from Rocket Power. Like just meet all those.
We got a Rocket Power. Freaking Rocket Power, man.
Oh shit, that would be fun, would it not?
Yeah, it would.
What do you think?
I mean, it's VR.
I'm good with real life.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like the same thing what you just said. Like once you go in, 10 years, right? You get out, you're gonna need to go back. Like that is gonna become like your reality.
Right.
And I think that's something that I'm like scared of. Like me going in, and I'm like, I gotta go back.
Yeah. Then
you're not living your real life. And to avoid that, I'm just not gonna go in, dog. Like I don't think that's. I think I'm fucking throw that shit away. I think part of the journey of we getting deep. I think part of the journey of life is like the hardship and like learning your experiences and learning from those and then building on yourself.
Yeah.
When you go into this world, you have nothing to build off of because everything's kind of
It's all
like
handed to you.
yeah, and it's all handed to you. So you have no ambitions.
Oh, this
You're
is streaming like
you're
this
probably-
is going into like
you're probably
real
gonna-
life. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna get done everything you've wanted to get done, like from your real life. You're
Yeah.
gonna get that shit done in 1 year, maybe less.
But it's
You
also
get done in one day.
Yeah, 1 day. Fuck
Exactly.
it.
It's
You
also
have-
the satisfaction of knowing, like, we were talking about this, and we were talking about, like, the 6 month of us just, like, transforming our bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, like, I love that satisfaction of saying, this is where I fucking was.
Yeah, where you
I
came
love
from
fucking-
to where
It
you
feels
are
like that.
now.
It's like,
and it just
it's
from
not
there.
that-
So you get out,
awesome.
and then you're like, damn, I'm stuck and like right now in this life, and it's not going my way. Let's go fucking back it. No, I'm good.
Like, what's better, winning the real Oscar or winning the virtual Oscar that you got? Like
That you got like
You know what I
that.
mean?
Bro, but like, okay,
work
but-
in it, put in the work
Virtual
into
has
it.
spells and you can
But,
do
but,
it.
but think about this. It would go beyond getting an Oscar. It would be like kind of like when Star-Lord, when his dad, Ego, the Living Planet, it's like, you are a god, son. He's like, I'm going to create some weird shit. Like, that's what he says.
Oh, no, 100%.
Do
See,
whatever
but then
you want.
you go in there, you can just so then you're going the route of like you can do things that you can't
could be a
physically,
god.
you
could
can't
be a
do
god.
here, and you can be your own god. But then you're gonna come back here, and you're gonna be like,
Yeah, deep down,
I'm
Star-Lord
Mitch.
did it.
But if I spent 10 years being a god, would I not come back to reality being omnipotent?
well, hold on.
Pulled out the vocab.
Yeah, it was like,
Damn.
Hold on.
I have a
you
high.
made my gears grind.
And
for
there,
what's it
and there,
called?
you're a
Vernacular
god. In
smokes
real
coming
life,
out.
you're just a man, and you're gonna want to go back to be that guy.
Yeah.
And then you're not like living life.
Mm.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, good question.
Yeah.
Like,
It gets you thinking.
100%.
It really makes you think like with people's
Yeah.
mindsets, like will they go and do
Do you
that?
know
It's
the
not a bad
algorithm?
thing.
Do you know the algorithm of the cave?
Of the what?
Algorithm of the cave, or allegory? Sorry, allegory of the cave. Do you know that?
Which game? Which algorithm? I don't know.
So
Yeah.
the
alligator?
have you heard of Plato?
Yes.
Living. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like
Plato.
Plato. Yeah.
The,
Plato.
The philosopher.
The philosopher,
Yeah.
yes. So he wrote a book called whatever I just said, of the cave, and he basically said, well, what if you learned that there is a cave and you are sitting in a chair and you can only see shadows on a wall cast by like behind you, you're in a chair, there's torches behind you, the entire cave is lit by torchlight, and the entire world is behind you outside of this cave, right? But
Okay.
you were born, don't think about it too deep. You were born in this
That's what I'm
chair.
doing right now.
You were born in this chair and you've only known shadows cast on the wall, right? What would happen if somebody came and untied you from the chair and told you to walk outside the cave and experience the world? You would never, like, you
It's
went
fucking
out, you experienced the world, you would see a cow, right? And you'd be like, what the hell? That's a cow. What is this?
You've
You'd see
seen-
grass. You'd
you've
see
seen,
the sun. You'd be like, there is a ginormous fireball in the sky. I'm terrified. And then you go back into the cave, and I'm sitting there, and Johnny's sitting next to me, and I'm like, Johnny. Like, there's a cow outside. You're like, what the
There's
fuck
this
is a cow?
thing.
Yeah.
We don't know. If
All
we
you
don't
know
what
is
a cow
you, bro,
is,
right? And
We're
I'm
just
just like, there is a fireball in the sky. You would be like, you're joking, bro. Like, I'm good with the shadows, dude. Like, I'm good with the shadows.
You seen Ex Machina?
No.
So there's a part. It was the last part of Ex Machina where she all she knows is those four walls. All she knows is that stuff. She interacts with this person to try to feel this guy to see if he can try to innate feelings with this robot, with this non organic thing. And what ends up happening, he falls in love with this robot to the point where he tries to free her, or that's kind of like the mindset that this robot has. And so all she's trying to do is really escape. So she opens up the door to the unknown, which is the outside, and all she sees is this greenery and all this stuff that she didn't know, but she doesn't know how to process all this stuff. Yeah, she's a processing thing, so she's processing all this, like the sun, everything that we see day to day. She's processing everything right now as a robot. It's just imagine and AI is creepy as it is right now. Like that's just kind of like Plato's thing from that point, and use it into like a reality right now where that could be reality. We would live symbiotically with AI. Man, that's crazy. Yeah.
Do you guys think we could live in a simulation? You think that's real?
This is
we can
we can
conspiracy.
totally be in a simulation for sure.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, the only person who knows yourself. Like, you three could be in my simulation. I don't know.
You guys heard of the Truman Theory?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Explain it for us.
Yeah.
Explain
The
it.
Truman Theory is basically if the Truman Theory is applied to me, so basically I'm me, but everything and everyone is an actor and everything is like a set.
Mm-hmm.
So like whenever like we're talking right now, and I'm like, yo, you an actor? Nah, you're gonna deny it. Or yeah. And then when I leave, you guys are gonna set up for the next take or whatever.
Yeah.
You're onto us, man.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Shit, right?
Hey man. Are
No,
y'all
not,
actors?
dude. I swear.
See, but
Don't
are
on
you
the
supposed to
camera,
say that?
dude.
I'm the main character in your own story.
Exactly, dude. My friend had one of the greatest quotes. We were like arguing one time in college, like, do we want to go get like Papa John's or something? He's like, I don't care, man. He's like, it's your world, man. I just live in it. That's what he said.
Damn.
Whoa.
Isn't that deep?
That's where like he knows.
It's your
he's
world,
like,
dude. I'm just
I don't want
living in it.
control my world. Let somebody control my world for me. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's like-
shout out to Quentin.
That's right.
Over some Papa John's. That was deep.
That is deep. He's like, man, it's your world.
I would have been
I'm
like,
just
damn,
living
bro, I just want to know if you want some pizza, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's
Want the
probably
garlic
bigger.
sauce?
Yeah.
That's
You're
all- that's
eating.
all
You're
we
eating
want.
break my world like
Yeah,
that.
you're
Yeah.
eating there. You're like, what do you mean by that? What the
Yeah.
hell? Like,
It hits you at 3 a.m. Like,
deja
that
vu
late
hits
night
you.
Papa
I can't
John's.
sleep. I can't sleep.
Oh my god.
yeah, you
what do you
can't
think?
sleep still thinking about Papa John's.
What do you think?
Of
Everything
in a
that-
simulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think about it too much. If I am, cool. If I'm not, hey, gonna keep going. Yeah. That's all it. I mean, I'm not super passionate about the
Would you,
subject.
if you
but-
knew, if somebody was like, listen here, Chase, you're in
Yeah.
a simulation, would you try to manifest things from then on? Like I'm
Oh,
gonna try
yeah,
to trick
of
the
course.
simulation.
No.
I'm gonna trick the simulation.
I'm tricking the system.
I'm gonna work
I was
this.
gonna say, if you just rip DMT, then apparently, hey, you're out of the simulation for a second. You know, never know.
I don't know. I don't want to get into
I think
that
Chase
right
loves
now.
Chase loves the simulation enough where he's gonna say, "Fuck that, I love it."
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm having a good time in this simulation. If that's the
If
case,
that's
you know?
That's
Right.
very. That's a good way
Yeah.
to look at it. Honestly, a lot of people don't look at it that way, but
Yeah.
it's a nice perspective to have for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting fucking deep, but at the same time, we should lighten the mood a little bit because whoa, it was just kind of like right there.
I'm sorry for that. We gotta-
No, but the thing, all I'm gonna
The
say
cave,
is
man.
that the
Fuck
idea.
you, Cave.
The idea of philosophy is the what if. It's the what if scenario that can suggest that you can do more than what the real world is actually giving to you. It's just also the disciplinary to keep going with that. So that's why I like going into the what if philosophies, but I also know this is my realistic life that I know of that I want to keep pursuing and getting better at, being the best I want to be, but also enjoying everything I can. It's a sense of balance, but that's why I delving into like that a lot. Just know you have to balance everything else out just to make sure it's like all in a harmonious state. That's all I'm saying about right there. That's the best way to end it.
There's this great quote by I'm gonna misquote, but I'll just summarize it. It's MGMT, you know the band MGMT, before one of their songs, and it's not a quote from them. They're quoting someone else. So I'm gonna misquote a misquote of a misquote. So I'm gonna like
what?
Anyways, it says, if you stare deep enough into the abyss stares back at you.
It does.
Did you feel that silence?
That's
Did you
thinking.
feel
That's
the
not
silence?
Feel this? Yeah, that was.
What do you guys think about that? What do you?
I'm not gonna sleep tonight, bro.
Where can I see the abyss and know that I don't know.
That's
what I'm
like a
trying
question
to
your
think.
own reality type thing. You
So
know?
how do you interpret that? Like, what's your interpretation?
Like
of that?
it's a question your own reality. You know, like if you think too deeply into things, like eventually, like it becomes real, right? Like the things that you.
You're saying like
you
manifestation. You're saying that you
Kind of. I
manifest?
mean, kind of sort of. I don't know exactly how. I guess
Like,
you
if
can
you-
what
interpret-
are you
that's how
trying to
I'd interpret. That's
if you
how
think and
you can
believe
interpret
there's a
it however you
problem,
want.
that then it will become a problem.
But yeah, it's like it's kind of like if you stare deeply into like the things that you think are like going on in your life and like the things that you really think that are like bad and wrong with this world, like they will be there. And like if you look deep enough into anything, it's probably true.
I mean,
Yeah. It becomes like
It becomes
it
reality.
becomes like
right?
your reality, like your belief. Yeah,
it's
I
like the
agree.
law of attraction, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I was thinking of that.
I mean, that's
yeah.
just how I interpret it. It could be totally wrong. He could just be
No,
talking
but
about
that's
like
it's the interpretation.
he
that
could be talking
goes
about like what goes
further.
bump in the night, but like I don't
And we totally like look way too into it.
yeah.
Because
I
deep
don't
down,
know.
I think that there's a correlation with all these different aspects. Because when we think of law of attraction, we think of the part that's a different aspect than maybe what this
Oh,
aspect
yeah.
is. So that's why I was like,
Yeah.
maybe that aspect kind of like stems from that same idea, and I think that's where it goes. It's like it keeps going into like these different ideas that accumulate into what our lives are.
Mhm.
So that's why it's like, oh, it could be like fitness. You can be talking about your mom. You can be talking about anything,
Yeah.
but I think one thing that you can't control, everything else, other aspects of your life you can, but the one thing you can't is relationships. So like, and that's with anybody. Like
you can't control relationships?
Yeah.
That's kind of true in some way.
In what way though? That you can't control relationships?
You can't control other people's emotion, like other people's
Well, yeah, you
perspective.
can't.
And that's the reason why. That's the reason. Like you can't control your mental state. You can't control your physical state. You can't control all these different things. But law of attraction and all that stuff is to, it's to branch you out to meet other people.
Yeah.
It's not for them to stay. It's not for them to leave. It's just for you to extend yourself. And then from there, that's the part where you can't control. It's if they come and go.
I thought you meant like you can't control who isn't.
You can't. You can't.
Totally control.
Wouldn't that be mental though?
Yeah.
I know what you're
That
saying,
would be mental.
and not to get too deep again, but let's go a little bit further. There's another quote that I heard from this YouTube video that said, it says, "You cannot control who you love, and you cannot control who loves you."
Did you feel that silence?
Right? Isn't that crazy? Like, you can't really control who you love. Like, you fall for somebody, you just fall for them, right?
I mean,
you can't control it.
It's like asking out a girl. Like every girl you ask out, most of them are not gonna like you.
But like when you really like, if you're dating someone, I mean, like if you're dating someone, and we've all been there, done that, and it's like you can't control like when you eventually do fall for them. Like you might be like, I'm not gonna fall for her, dude. I'm not gonna fall for her. But like if it happens, it happens, and you can't control it really.
I mean, yeah.
You might try to deny it all.
No, dude. I guess.
Or even like when you have a kid,
you kind of control what you want. And maybe if you find someone that is
kinda
pretty close to that match,
or like say you have a kid, right? And like you, as soon as you're holding your child in your arms, like you can control that love. You're like, I love you, like no matter what, like you know what I mean? Like I've never had a kid, I don't know what it feels like, but I imagine that's what it's like. You can't control. Like I would love to think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'd love to think my mom can control like her love for me. She just loved me as soon as I was born, right?
Yeah.
Or even before I was born.
But that's also like not everybody starts off in the same race. Not everybody had that experience that you had. Maybe some people don't even have a family. Or
that's
like
true. I mean, that's 100% true.
And so they probably think of it totally differently than
but
what
you still can't control if your parents love you or not. Even if your parents don't love you, say you're born and your parents hate you, you can't control that, right?
Well, there's this thing where like love should transcend everything, and so that's why it's like I wouldn't know what to say because I don't have a child. But supposedly, when you do have a child, you should change. It's not that you will change; you should change.
Yeah,
but
in a perfect world.
I mean, anything you do changes you, and like having a kid is a pretty big
pretty
fucking
big
change.
one. So that's what I'm saying. Like you should change, but
what do you guys say about like the whole can't change who you love and they can't?
I think the subject gets tricky. Like when you're talking about like I think there's things that you can do, but like it's like our what's the word? Snap. Our relevancy, our interpretation of what do you mean by like our control?
Yeah.
Essentially, 100% in control.
Like I honestly think like you have control over it.
But what about this? No matter what you, sorry for interrupting.
No,
no matter what, like say you've gone on a date with the girl 1,000 times, you've done everything for her that you think she would like, and at the end of the day, she might just be like, honestly, I love you as a friend, I love you as a person, but I don't love you romantically, right? Like you
just move on to the next person.
Honestly,
but I'm saying it's out of your control. I'm not trying to like say like.
That's why I say you can't control relationships.
Yeah, that's
you
why
can't control how someone else feels about you, but you can control
exactly.
like. All right, say you make a list of like these are the 10 things I want in someone I want to date, and you find someone that matches that. You're in control of that. You know what I mean? You're in control of like, what you want.
Yeah.
We live in a world right now where we want instant gratification, and the thing is, it's that kind of like the decision making when it comes to that will like stagnate what we think of like relationships, love, all this aspiring things that I think are clamoring for in the end, which there's no end. It's just I think it's just the travel, the experience, everything that you experience, that's what it is about, not the outcome. It's not the outcome. I think so. There's never a perfectionalized way of looking at anything. So that's the reason why I think it's about the journey, not about anything else. And so because of that, I think that's the reason why, like, if you can't stagnate yourself if you're not wanted in some sort of perspective. And that perspective, it has to be like that girl. Probably doesn't, that's fine. I think that's hard to disillude yourself because people want to allude love to no, that's what you have to do. You have to
exactly,
keep.
yeah.
You have to keep kind of. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe everybody's depiction and perspective of love is totally different, but some things I think stem true to what love was in the past and how you can translate it to the future, and maybe that can help you kind of go into like this next realm, you know? I don't know what y'all think, but I mean, that's just what I say. I mean,
Love defeated Voldemort.
It's what
so
you
it's
said.
good enough for me.
What you
so
said.
love transcends everything.
Everyone has like their own take on like love. Like it's a kind of difficult subject to really explore and like touch upon because everyone has a different interpretation of it, and it can be interpreted differently. So it's like we could banter about our interpretations and like what it can be or what it could be, but at the end of the day, like, it's something that's not tangibly explainable. Like it's
well, that's why saying like it transcends all. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. I learned that from Interstellar.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You still control what you want.
Interstellar,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
learned
going
that
back to
from
Interstellar.
You can control who you love, and that
Yeah, and how you want it. Like you're in control of like, oh, I want to get married or I don't want to get married. You're in control of I want a friend with benefits or I want like an actual relationship. You're in control of those things, and then you find people that also are in control of their things, and you want similar things.
See, that's,
I love talking about these things with young guys like us because we are in the age where we have to be making these decisions and like trying to find a partner for the rest of our
bro,
lives.
actually, I can't wait for y'all to listen to the one where me and her talk, because that's the reason why I'm saying, like, you're right. Like, there's a perspective here, and especially for the young guys, where Tinder's a thing, all this other stuff is like a thing, but it's just like, is that the way that we're perceiving love now? I don't know if it's like our thoughts are the old-fashioned way of looking at it, or if it's the new way to kind of look at.
It's new-ish. I mean, like,
you know what I mean?
well, we were kind of talking about this before, where like, I think.
Please elaborate, Chase.
I think by the time we are 50, the new norm, like, because there's just so much divorce. I mean, I've been surrounded by divorce my entire life, so just the way I see it.
That's different for me, but you're right.
Okay. So I'm thinking about 20% of the couples in America will get married. I think the rest of America, you're going to be in 3 to 4, 10 to 15 year relationships throughout your life. I'm serious. So I agree. Just because
marriage is a thing.
Well, like I'll go out, right, and I just see like couples that are like 50, and
right.
the husband's reading the newspaper, the mom's on her phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like shit like that, where it's like, just naturally what you want in a relationship, it always changes. It changes tomorrow from what it is today.
True.
And over 15 years, what two people want is going to change. Now, maybe you get lucky and you link up with someone where your wants are always changing in the same direction.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you hit 47 and they start to split apart a bit.
Yeah, it happens.
And I think because when we were kids, I think divorce had such a bad stigma to it, where it was like, when I was 10, I heard someone's getting divorced, I was like, oh, that's like really bad. But now it's just kind of like the norm.
It's like,
you know,
it's acceptable.
And
it's like more than 50% of people of like marriages right now.
Exactly.
It's like,
I mean, like when my parents got divorced, obviously it sucked at first when I heard it, but then I was like, hey, if it's gonna make both of you happier, you should do what makes you happy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I'm gonna try off that, especially like that same way of thinking is coming up with like religion. It's coming up with like the way that we learn. It's coming up with the way that we see ourselves and like better ourselves, I guess, or self-help, I guess. It's just that there's this idea out there of like there is something else out there that was like we shouldn't put a cap on it.
Yeah.
And so one of those things is that, especially as young men and just us trying to find a compatible partner, if that's what it is that you're looking for, or compatible partners, or compatible whatever. It's just like it's that's why I don't think it comes out to an end one, because we're all finite. At the end of the day, we die, and it's just like, but is that what you want? Is that one person you die with, and are you gonna die together? I don't know. Like, what's the deal there? Is like everybody's interpretation always changes. Like you're right. Like maybe you're right. You could fall in love with some guy or something like that, and it's just kind of like that could end up being what you're talking about when it comes to like all these different trends that are coming up, and what you're allowed and not allowed to kind of like let in your life. And I don't know. I just think also, and I don't know. I can't speak for women because I'm not gonna speak for women, but I think men should know their limitations. And I mean that in any aspect. Too much of something or too much of anything like is a bad thing, but it's also, don't let that like hinder you from actually doing things, like, you know. So at that point it's just like that's what I could say from that point. I don't know what else to kind of like chime on that part. But.
So I don't know how much time we have left, obviously.
What is time?
But chiming off of what
hours, man. Let's keep going.
Chiming off of what DJ said about how you don't think that there's a physical embodiment of love, or like it's not like tangible, it's not a thing like that. Funny enough, going back to Marvel,
yeah,
in the Infinity Gauntlet comics, if you read that, you might realize that some of the most important people in the entire galaxy come and they all meet to defeat Thanos, and two of the people that come are love and hate. And they're the physical embodiments of love and hate. Have you read this comic?
Yeah. Yang.
And it's like, that's so interesting. That comic book's what? It was like in the 80s it came out? Like
when it was raw, bro.
Yeah, dude, it was like, that was back when, that was back in the day. And like,
comics were better back in the day, that's all I'm saying. Like, like they had more story, they had more nostalgia.
I agree with that too, actually. Everything's just way too political.
That's what I'm saying.
They try to push an agenda even in comics. Mm-hmm. Like it's crazy, man.
It is kind of weird how they do that type of thing. Yeah.
I will say it's more Marvel. DC kind of doesn't do it.
Well, because Marvel's in the forefront. I think that's the reason why we just see it more, because they're more prevalent now. Like we have to have more female actors, more female this, more minority this, and it's just like. I mean, I'm not clamoring for that, but at the same time, whatever.
It's definitely more in Marvel. Like, in Marvel, I know some of the presidents have been actual characters in the comic books. Yeah. And, like, for instance, in the Marvel the Marvel comic universe, like, they just legalized marijuana. Like, just out of the blue, like...
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I like that.
They're just like, that's what's happening. And it's, like, kind of weirdly political. In a weird way.
But okay, so let's
everything's political.
Maybe okay, is everything political, or do we politicize everything?
Everything is political.
In some degree, yeah.
They literally just confirmed about.
You don't think they politicize everything?
You can't not make something and not put your idea into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean like you have to be like super political, but like
you're gonna add
anything you make, you're gonna put your opinion on something somewhere in it.
Let's use the idea of meditation. Not to stem from like religion. Is that political?
Meditation?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is everything political?
Well, I think we were mostly talking about like entertainment.
That's entertainment. What I mean. Entertainment. You can't not put your everything is biased to a degree. Yeah,
sure.
I mean, you
sprinkle.
Some things are way more biased than others, obviously, depending on what you're going for.
Right.
But I think to a degree, you always put part of you and what you think into what you make.
Yeah.
So, you just can't control that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we want to chime into politics at all. But that's the reason why I was like,
please don't.
we don't. Dude, great podcast, by the way. This was amazing. Once again, guys, thanks for being here. This was an amazing one. Like I said, we're gonna cut these down. Like, there's so many viewpoints, so many things we talk about. That's the goal of this. It's just to kind of like get so many different perspectives of things that we want to talk about, and it's just like boom. Like,
how long have we been talking?
Dude, this is like almost 2 hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dude, if you think about it,
it's 4.
and it's just like it's crazy. Like I don't want it to be like just I don't have an agenda. I just like talking to people. That's what I like to do. Like yesterday, I had a drummer on here. Great, like me and him are really good friends. Dude, there's so much stuff that you wouldn't know about a person until you kind of like sit down and talk to them. I think a podcast is a great way to do it.
100%.
And I think I was just like, do you feel like you're gonna say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, if anybody's listening or watching on YouTube and knows a sound guy, we're looking for.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Please
bring your boom pole.
We will pay you nothing, but we have.
I'll throw you.
Maybe.
Maybe a kiss before.
Dinner on me.
Friendship. That's all I can offer. I don't know. Anyways, but like I said, guys, this is the goal. I mean, towards the ending of almost, I wanted to revamp this up before election time because I feel like there's a lot more stuff to talk about that ends up not having to do with entertainment. But that's the thing. We can't go off of just one thing and then not talk about other things. It just goes into it. And because of that, I'd like to thank y'all for all three of y'all for being here. But
thank you for having us,
dude. For real, we are gonna end it here. We're gonna see how much more we can go into this. If this gets successful, we can get more panels of what else we talk about. See what works, what doesn't. DJ, where can people find you? Just to kind of like
Facebook. I have my full name on there on Facebook. It's D'Angelo Rucker. That's my full name. Instagram D_craze1. and Snapchat, D crazy -1.
This man
He's good on
Snapchat.
this
Yeah,
man's Snapchat's
yeah,
a
yeah,
legendary.
Snapchat.
Like, he
If
should
any
have been
other
on
person
TikTok.
pitched their Snapchat, I'd be like, "Why are you pitching a Snapchat?"
For
But
real,
this
like,
man's
this guy
Snapchat is like
man.
anything I've ever seen. He's like you're a vlogger.
Yeah, I do. I try to do a snap
That's
a day.
what
I
I'm
try to
saying.
see the content.
Like-
yeah.
He makes cool snaps.
Like
Yeah.
YouTube that shit. Or
Yeah, I
like,
try to like because I see not to rag on people's Snapchats, but people
You're ragging on people's Snapchats.
Like I feel like
But you bring it to a different.
yeah, I try to
For sure.
I guess innovate it. Like I don't want it to just be a minute of something boring, so I try to do. I
You
don't
like
know.
edit them.
Yeah,
fun.
Right there. That's
Fun to watch.
Add me on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Right, D crazy -1. I think that's my Snapchat.
People
If
are
not,
there.
he'll correct it and he'll put it in.
People are in there like, who uses Snapchat? What the fuck?
I mean, you won't regret it. You won't regret it.
You won't regret it. It's fun. All right, Chase, where can people find you? What do you do? Everything that this is your plug-in.
You can find me on LinkedIn for sure.
LinkedIn.
Let's make a connection. I mean, I guess my Instagram, Chase Azerian. Try and spell Azerian. You might find it. You never know.
I'll put it down.
Got 2 YouTube channels, Chilling with Chase.
Hey.
I'm gonna start posting stuff on there again, I guess. And then Chase Azerian, if you want to see like my travel stuff, my short film stuff.
Check this guy out on YouTube, guys.
Yeah,
it's
some talenting
it's
stuff.
some really
Talented
good
Appreciate it.
stuff,
I
dude.
need to get better.
Yeah,
I can
talented
always
Nah.
improve, but
It's good.
yeah,
It's
good
good.
stuff.
It's
kind
good.
of it, I guess. Also starting up a podcast soon. I'll have all you guys.
Heck
on.
yeah,
So,
dude.
yeah.
That's what I'm
I
talking
told,
about.
I told myself, man, I was like, hey, these are all my weight loss goals. Last one, I
You can
will
talk about
finally
it, you know,
reboot
stuff
my
like that.
YouTube and start a podcast.
See, I'm
again.
telling you,
'Cause
man.
I did like 3 years ago, and I was like, I got bored
It
of
feels
it.
good, bro.
And now I want to do it again, yeah.
And
So that's it.
Okay, so if you want to follow my Disney account on Instagram, it's mitchell.mouse. It's just Disney stuff. So if you're a Disney fan or even some Marvel stuff, there's some Marvel from like Universal. They have Marvel stuff there. And then YouTube is just Mitchell May. Good luck finding me.
Hey, it's there.
But yeah, like I just post a lot of Disney content. I'm trying to post more like Marvel and DC and Harry Potter.
Hey,
but,
man.
like it's hard to.
what you like changes a lot. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it's hard. It's hard to get into that niche, but yeah, thank you. for
Dude,
having us,
Thank you,
dude.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having us,
Dude,
bro.
yeah, for sure. We're gonna have more things lined up. I'm so glad that we all are creative minds. We all like to come together. We all love to talk about stuff, shit on things. It doesn't matter. You'll find out at the end of this podcast, if you're still with us, that we talk about a lot, and that we actually like to, see what y'all think. What do we want to talk about? What do y'all want to talk about?
Part 2 of this group?
Hey,
meeting
for-
together?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Maybe next time we'll just talk about nothing but relationships.
Yeah, we're
Maybe
gonna talk
next
about
time
aliens.
we'll talk about aliens.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
conspiracy.
This is literally
Please.
this panel was this here for like entertainment, but I was like, I think it's gonna stem more to that. Like, there was like so many ideas. I had like 2 other girls were just like, you need to have one. I was like, that's 100% cool idea. Like, battle of the sexes. Like, what do girls want? What do guys want? What do they? It's all this other stuff. It's like, it's just cool ideas. I'm like, okay, I need to implement all these cool ideas. Like, I feel like people want to listen to it, clamor on. And dude, honestly, that you're right. Like, people want to hear your story. Like, it doesn't matter what story it is. Like,
Yeah,
you had a life changing story. You had a life changing story. You have a life changing story. Who knows? Maybe you can fucking like get somebody and just like that one person's gonna listen to you and just be like, hey, I want to do what he does. I want to be like
Yeah.
he.
That's what it's
Like
about.
100%. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. We hit that 2-hour mark. So we're just gonna we're gonna end it here. Like I said, guys, like, subscribe, hit follow all these people. They have good content. I'm telling you guys, you're not gonna regret it. But thanks for tuning in to the Slice of Life podcast.
Shout out to the Clubhouse if you watch this. It's your Clubhouse. You know who you are.
Golly. But thank you for tuning in to the Slice of Life podcast, guys. We're going to end it here. Look at the camera, guys, and just wave them goodbye. See you later, guys.
Done. So that's it.